There we go. We're live. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all here. I'm excited for another monthly Green Room Pythons live stream. I've got the inspector already messing with my microphone. Do you guys remember last live stream? We talked about, oh, shoot. Completely took it off. Hang on. We're already having technical problems. I'll put it right there. I got to find the magnet. Oh, found it. Landed on the ground. Okay, so we're off to a great start, you guys. Do you remember last live stream last month? We talked about the fact that people request to see Detective Inspector Rorschach, and I always go, he's in his bioactive and he's hard to get to, and so I don't get him out. So this time I got him out first so that we could see him. He's doing well. He rarely comes out because of that, you know. If he came out of his hide during the day and was like wandering around, he'd come out. But he's a ball python that likes to sit in his hide, which I think is fairly common for most ball pythons. All right, we've got a bunch of people in here already, including my mother, who finally made it on time to a live stream. She's here in almost all the live streams. My mom's here. That's Jean Bledsoe. And, but she usually comes in a little bit late because she's got stuff to do. She's busy. She's doing stuff, you guys. She doesn't have time to sit here for 3 hours during a long live stream. So she jumps in like halfway through. But she's here now. And so first of all, happy Valentine's Day to those of you who celebrate Valentine's Day. I personally am not religious, so, you know, but February 14th is a very important day for my family, not necessarily because of Valentine's Day, but February 14th is my mother's birthday. So Jean Bledsoe has a birthday tomorrow, in case you wanted to say anything to her in the chat and didn't have anything to say, you know. Now you got something to say. Happy birthday, Mom. She's the best. Okay. So many people are in. I'm gonna Brady's in. Hi, Brady. That's Amy's husband. And speaking of Amy's husband, here's Amy.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Amy, who do you got there?
I have Dodger. She's definitely trying to be much more of a problem than she usually is. She usually just hangs out on my hand, but today she's like, I want to go everywhere.
I gotta say, I love Dodger, but here's my problem. When I pulled you up on the screen, I mean, I'm not, just so that everybody knows, I'm not looking at this in like big screen. It's kind of small for me. But my eyes are getting worse and worse because that looked like a ball python to me. It looked like an orange dream type ball python. And I was like, what do you have? No, I see it now. I had to put my reading glasses on, and then I see it very clearly. But it's Dodger.
Nerd glasses.
Yeah, the nerd glasses. So, hi, Amy. So we'll take this moment to mention that Amy's the live stream producer. And one of her very important roles is that when somebody asks a question, so first of all, I may say this later on in the live stream when there's more people here, but if you're new and you have a question for me, I'm not going to see most of the chat during this live stream because I'm doing live stream stuff. I got to host a live stream. So chances are I won't see your question. So if you want to just ask the question, there are a lot of experienced snake keepers in the chat that will answer you. So keep an eye on the chat after you've asked your question. Otherwise, if you have a question or comment and you definitely want me to see it, super chat it and I'll notice it. But sometimes I don't notice it. And in those cases, Amy notices it and she flags me down and she'll tell me. So thanks for being here, Amy. Lovely. It's lovely to see Dodger. This is Amy's false water cobra. And she is the cutest. That little snake. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to drop you out for now, Amy.
Bye.
She will wave her hands frantically at me if she needs to alert me of a super chat or anything else. I was going to say something else and I forgot. I forgot what it was. Okay, everybody's jumping in and saying hi. Hello, everybody. I'm just scrolling down super fast. I would love to just shout out everybody's name, but I'm not going to because there's just so many right now. It got off to a fast start. Good to see you guys. All right. We're gonna, as people are jumping in, we're gonna mention my mom's birthday later. Too. And maybe that, oh, here's what I was gonna say. Is this, you know, I read the chat the next day. I always read everything. So I'll eventually see everything that you guys say. And sometimes somebody jumps in with a question and they will ask it over and over and over, and they don't know to look at the chat. So people are going, like, I see this the next day, people are going, dude, we've answered your question 100 times. Stop asking, but they're not seeing the chat. So if that's happening, I just want everybody to like flag Amy if Amy doesn't see it already, and then she'll flag me. And I still may not answer the question if you guys already have, but I will say, hey, take a look at the chat. Or maybe I will answer the question. It depends on how I feel about that. But I don't like people spamming the chat with question, you know, same thing over and over. So we're going to try to keep tabs on that today. Math Pig, thanks for the super chat. Notice me, Senpai. I don't know what that means. What does Simpy mean? Senpai, Simpy? Haha, big love. Thanks. I appreciate that, Math Pig. I like your name there. That is the first super chat of the day. All right. So I am, you know what I'm drinking out of this? This is my, look at this luxurious bastard mug. How cool is that, right? Luxurious Bastard beard care products. There's still a discount code. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's in the description of this video and every other video that I have. I've got a whole bunch of discount codes for different things. You can get a discount on beard oil, beard balm. It's my favorite beard oil company. Anyway, I'm not drinking whiskey today because I am on a health. I'm on a health kick. I'm eating healthy and stuff like that. And whenever I get on a eating healthy situation, that includes not drinking, mainly because when I drink, even like I don't even have to be a little bit buzzed for it to sway my decision. Like I'll start to feel a little bit hungry and I'll go, you know what? Let me just get a burger and no fries because fries are bad for you. And what I'll do is I'll substitute the fries with another burger. So I'll just get 2 burgers, like no big deal. So I don't want to do that. So I'm not drinking. I am drinking tea though, out of this luxurious bastard mug. It's a lovely tea. I'll tell you what I'm drinking. It's called, I can't remember. It's called like Slayer's Blood or something like that. I got it at a shop down the street that sells nerd stuff. They sell like D&D, tons of gaming stuff, but they also have a tea shop and all their teas are special made and labeled different nerd things. So this was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer themed. Anyway, the point is that it's like blood red, orange, and some other things. The inspector is a little bit too big to be on this hat, but I'm letting him do it because he's not out very often. So he should get to do what he wants, right? Candy's Critters, thanks for the super chat. Bob, have a Valentine laugh. I was watching an old video of you introducing Jenny Craig. Love to all, especially to Just Craig and his new parent. Yeah. You know, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me to just double check, because I knew that snake came from like a Petco, and I knew that the person that sent it to me never double checked, you know, the gender. So we had a 50-50 shot at that one. But Just Craig is at his new home. He's got a lovely new home, and we are happy about that. Cryptic, thanks for the super chat. Got our first ball python. Your videos have been great. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you've enjoyed those. Congrats on that new ball python. That's really cool. I don't know if you guys can hear the sawing next door, but for the last several months, there's been construction noise like right next door. They're building a apartment unit. And right now, it's like living next to the Seattle sawmill back in the 1800s. That's what it's been like this week. Just constant sawing. How much sawing do you have to do? Like, haven't you sawed enough lumber? So anyway, there's also a massive rainstorm right now with flood warning in effect until I think 6 p.m. today. I don't know why we have to have such extreme, like massive fires, then massive storms. Why can't it just be a little bit of rain and then a little bit of fire that's easy to put out? You know, I don't know why we can't have that. But the point is, those guys are sawing even through the rain. I mean, obviously they must be in the building, but it sounds like it's right outside my door. All right. I've got no more complaints. My life is just fine. You guys don't worry about it. It's fine. All right. We've got a lot of questions on the Q&A that we're going to get to. This is probably going to be a longer live stream. So if you guys were hoping for a short one, sorry about that. What else do I want to say? Oh, okay. So just real quick, my friend Olivia, who lives down the street, has a bunch of reptiles. She's moving to Canada, probably soon. She's looking to rehome her largest reptile, which is an adult female ball python that she just wants to give to somebody who lives in the Los Angeles area or Southern California area, whatever. You know, if you're willing to come pick it up with its enclosure and everything, get a hold of me and I'll put you in touch with her. You need to be an experienced snake owner, somebody that understands snakes. This is a well-socialized snake that eats well and has a cool enclosure. And Olivia's just looking to give it to someone. So send me a message. You know, you can email me greenroompythons@gmail.com if you are interested in that. I already put it out to the Patreon supporters, but I have Patreon supporters all over the world, and we're looking for someone who lives in this area. So that's that. We got, so the inspector is going to be a papa in like 4 days, maybe 5. I've got a clutch of 13 eggs hatching in just days from now. The eggs look good. Hopefully those babies are all healthy and happy. Damara is the mama. Damara is my biggest snake. There's a lot of Damara fans, a lot of inspector fans too. So I will start a wait list over on Patreon for those snakes. A lot of people ask me how they can buy a snake from me. If you're a Patreon supporter at any of the paid levels, even, you know, like the $5 level, you can get on the wait list. And because there are so many babies, you know, as long as we have all healthy babies, we got 13 of them. If you have been, you know, waiting for a baby from the inspector or from Damara, we should have some nice combos of banana and orange dream and he's a firefly, pinstripe, stuff like that. Cool looking morphs, but not expensive ones. So these snakes are not going to be expensive. They'll be pretty cheap. And hopefully well socialized, because we'll work on that right away before sending them out. So that's that. Okay, let's do. Okay, so we've got 175 people in. Let me just mention this one more time. Sorry for the people that have already heard this. you guys, if you have a question for me or a comment or anything and you want me to see it, super chat it. And I'll see the super chat, or Amy will see the super chat. It's not because I only want to answer stuff for money. It's that's the only way to highlight the thing that I see. But if you have a question that you just need answered, just put it in the chat and look at the chat. If it's okay that I personally don't answer it, because there's a lot of other people that will answer your question. So you can do it that way as well. But otherwise, I don't see the chat for the most part until the next day. I will read your comments the next day. So if you just have something that you want to say to me and you don't need the response, I will see it the next day. And that's that. Towards the end of the live stream, once we're through the many questions that we have here, I may start looking at the chat, and I might be able to see some. Here, Azara just has here's a great example of it. Azara, thanks for that super chat. Hit the like button, friends. That's so nice of you to super chat that. Yeah, you know, only if you like this. If you don't like it, I don't want you to lie. You know, YouTube will find out. They'll come after you. So tell the truth. But if you truthfully like this, just, you know, hit the like button. Okay. Here we go. These are the questions from Patreon. If you don't know, I do a Q&A every live stream. It all comes from Patreon. I ask them about a week beforehand, and they start sending me questions. The questions can be about snakes, or they can be about anything else. It doesn't matter. How great is the inspector doing up on the hat? I think he's just happy there. Red Sonja asks, how is Harry the house snake? Dr. Harry Vanderspiegel, the house snake, is fantastic, and I'll show you to him. I'll show him to you. I won't show you to him. We'll bring him out. He actually just yesterday moved into a bioactive enclosure that I just decided to build really fast. I hadn't really planned on it. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and then I went, you know what? Let me just go to the pet store and get a glass enclosure, which I haven't done that in a long time. But I wanted a situation where you could see him from everywhere, and just make a little bioactive thing. I did it easy. I used the cage's existing background, you know, and it's cool. You'll see that in a future video, but I'll bring him out of it a little bit later. Okay. So these are a couple of different, Suzanne says, hoping for more Pip and the new African house snake too. Okay, great. So we got that. So we have requests for Harry Vanderspiegel and Pip. Amy, don't let me forget, because we could do both of those. Both those snakes ate yesterday, but they should be fine to come out for a minute. Okay, Joshua says, what high-end ball python morph combo would you like to have if you could choose one at no cost? Ooh, at no cost. I'd have to do a little bit of research, because I don't keep up with all the morphs in ball pythons very much. I mean, I know the ones that I work with, and then I know a bunch of others, but like there's probably some brand new ones that I don't know much about that would be awesome to have, but I just don't know it. But I would say, when I was at Canova, I saw some white lace clowns in person, and they're freaking amazing. White lace is the super form of lace, the lace gene, and that mixed into clown is awesome. So I would say like a white lace clown, and maybe with some hurricane sprinkled in there, like a hurricane white lace clown might be pretty cool. Maybe that's been done. I haven't seen one, but I like the idea of it. And then are you planning a Brettles Python care guide in the future? Yeah, in the future, but probably not until my Brettles Python is a little bit older and I have more experience. I mean, I could throw together a care guide based on what I know about Brettles Python care, and it would probably be fine. But I'd like to have some experience under my belt in getting to know this particular snake, because I can have, I think I can make a more nuanced video with that. So yes, in the future. Katie Lawley, thanks for the super chat. You're the best. No question, just miss your face. Katie, I miss your face too. You and your sister, Amy, this is Amy's sister. Hi, Amy, I'm adding you to the stage. Look at
Hello.
See that lady right there with the hat on and the snake on her hand? That's Katie's sister. Okay, bye, Amy. Katie, you're the best. I miss you too. Maybe I will get in my car and drive over there one of these days. I keep sort of threatening to do that. Amy keeps bugging me to do that. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be in Utah one of these days soon. Hey, pal, can you not block my face? Thanks. Here, you know what? Let's just do this. Oh, Dylan, thanks for the super chat. So nice of you. I appreciate that. Love your content. I've had my super dwarf for about a month. He's had a whistle and makes pops since I had him. Whistle has gotten worse. Pops have stayed the same. RI or shed. Thanks. So if it's with pops, so here's the thing. It's pretty common for a super dwarf, or it's common for many snakes to get a whistle to whistle when they breathe occasionally because they have something stuck in their nose. Could be shed, could be substrate, could be anything. And usually you can't see it. If you look in their nose, you can't see it, but it's creating a whistle when they breathe. But if it's not going away, like if, usually when you hear that, like the next day they're not whistling, so if the snake is continuing to do the whistle, and those pops, that's the bigger concern, is when you hear clicking or popping, that's not something that, that generally that's your red flag, because there's not something, it's not like, oh, he's got maybe some substrate caught in his throat or something. That doesn't cause popping. So I would take him to a vet just to be sure. Congrats on the new snake. And that's a bummer that you got to take him for a vet visit right away. But it's better to do that, especially within the first month, because I don't know who you got him from, but sometimes you can get the breeder to pay for that if they showed up with an RI. And the thing with snake, a lot of times a snake could be fighting something. They could be fighting an RI and doing pretty well with it. And so they're showing no signs at all at the breeder. But then the breeder puts them in a box and they get shipped across the country, and there's some stress involved in that. And because of the stress, their ability to fight that RI is not as strong as it was before. And then the symptoms start showing up. So it's not uncommon to be, a week or a month into having a new snake and noticing some symptoms. So yeah, vet visit would be good. Okay. Thanks for that super chat, Dylan. Appreciate that. Where are we at? Oh, Dan is asking, where did you get those two-tiered baskets that the super dwarfs like to lay in? Those are these. Whoops, I'm going the wrong direction. It's this right here. Stella loves it. I have 3 of them. They came from Target a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And a friend of mine bought 2 of them because she knew that the snakes would enjoy them. And then I searched and searched for more because I wanted to load up on them and couldn't find them. And then I think, Amy, did you find the 3rd one? Was that your in Utah? Yeah. I vaguely remember things sometimes, you guys. Amy sharply remembers things. I vaguely remember things.
I saw one on Mercari, which is like an online marketplace where people sell things I don't need anymore. And I found some, a lady was selling, like, she had like 12 of them for sale, but she was selling them for like double the price that you get them at Target. And Target is an expensive store already, so not like massively expensive.
Those 2, the first 2 that I got were in the dollar section of Target. So they were going out anyway. But all right. Thanks for the 3rd one, Amy. I appreciate it. Yep. So she was saying you're welcome, and I cut her off. Sorry about that, Amy. So those are great, and I love them, but they're hard to find unless they start carrying them again. But I think, the point is that these things, something like this, in fact, this kind of thing you can get at Target or any like home goods. Hey, lady, hang on. You're okay. Okay. So it's just a basket, and there's all kinds of baskets like this with designs similar to this. And some snakes like to, hey, it's not food, lady. Some snakes like to curl up in baskets like that, you know? That's Stella's cage, and Stella just ate yesterday. And usually there's about a 48-hour period while they're doing the bulk of their digesting that they think more food is coming. So they're super food mode constantly. She's been up in her sky hide all day, and as soon as she saw that door open, she came out in strike position. Did everybody hear that it's my mom's birthday today? Did everybody hear that? I don't think everybody heard that. It's my mom's birthday today. She's in the chat. No, it's not today. It's not today. It's tomorrow. Valentine's Day. My mom's birthday. My mom was born on Valentine's Day. So that is the thing that's going down tomorrow. Birthday time. Okay. Let's see where we're at here. We're going to put the inspector back here in a minute. We'll get somebody else. All right. Jay Blue Eyes says, here's a question for Bob and Amy. I'm going to bring Amy up for this question. Hi, guys. There we go. Hi, Amy. Do you own any other reptiles, amphibians, or inverts aside from snakes? If you do, what kind? Or what kind would you have considered? What kind have you considered? Something like that. Amy, I'll let you answer first. What you got?
Okay, so yes, I do. My husband and I have an axolotl. We've got 2 tortoises, and I do have a vinegaroon as well. So I hit all 3 categories. But I've also had bearded dragons, crested geckos, leopard geckos. I fostered a hognose snake once, but that's still a snake. So,
and you also
and white tree frogs.
And you also have 2 of the coolest dogs in the world. I do. Yeah.
This one right here.
That dog
has really smelly farts today.
Oh, okay. That's great.
They're bad.
Thanks for that contribution.
Welcome.
All right, I'm gonna get you off, and then I'll answer. Here we go. Bye, Amy.
Hey,
let me do these 2 super chats. Brentley, thank you for this super chat. If you have a question to go along with this or comment or something, put it in the chat. Amy will look for it and she'll flag me down. Thanks for that. And Red Sonia. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, come on. There it is. Red Sonia, thanks for that super chat. Happy birthday, Mama Jean. That's Red Sonia saying happy birthday to my mom. That's so nice. I appreciate those super chats, you guys. Have we missed any others? I don't think so. Okay. Katie back with another super chat to say happy birthday, Mama Bledsoe. Aquarius Queens. Mine was Monday. Oh my gosh, Katie, your birthday was Monday. I didn't know. Happy birthday, Katie. That's fantastic. Thanks for that super chat. Second super chat from Katie. That's really nice. I mean, it's especially nice because Katie could just send me a text or call me. The super chat is very nice. All right. Oh, I'm answering that question. I don't have anything but snakes. And the reason is that I travel. I'm gone, a week or 2 at a time, and snakes don't eat every day. And almost everything else does eat every day. Eric, I see your super chat. I'm going to get that in just a second. Everything else does pretty much eat every day. So as much as I love lizards, I love monitor lizards, different things like that. I don't have anything like that because when I go out of town, I'd have to have somebody coming in every single day to care for the animal. There is one lizard that I have considered for a while, and that's a beaded lizard because they can do a once a week feeding. They pretty much eat like a snake. And so I've looked at those a lot. They also get big and they require a lot of space. And the reason I haven't gotten one is because I don't think I want to devote that amount of space where I could devote, you know, I could have a snake instead. But I really like a beaded lizard. And here's just an interesting thing about living in the Los Angeles / Hollywood area. I was at the pet store yesterday getting springtails and isopods for Harry's new cage, and ran into Dominic Monaghan, you know, just Mary from the Lord of the Rings, no big deal, and had a chat with him about his beaded lizard. He's really into beaded lizards and was buying rodents for his lizard. But just weird that you could just be at the pet store and run into a hobbit, you know. It's pretty fun. Okay, Eric, thanks for this super chat. From Eric's Reptiles. Hey, Bob, what wattage of bulbs do you run for your ball python cages? What are the average temps? Your channel is the best. Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. So I have heat tape on most of my ball pythons are in tubs with heat tape. And the inspector is in this bioactive cage and he has a heat panel. And I don't know what the wattage is, but I always tell people, get a strong wattage because your thermostat is going to take care of it. So if you're getting a deep heat projector or a CHE or something like that, I always recommend a non-lighted heat source. Get 100 watts, 150 watts, whatever you get, because your thermostat will handle the temps, and you don't want to get one that's not strong enough. So for instance, yesterday, the other thing I got at the pet store was a deep heat projector for Harry's new cage. I already had the what do you call it, the lamp, and so they had like a 60 watt, 100 watt, and 150 watt. I knew based on his cage that I didn't need 150 watt. The 100 watt would be fine. And the 60 watt or whatever the other one probably would have been fine too, but I got the 100 because I know that that's more than enough. And my thermostat will take care of the temps. So that's a good question. Brentley, thanks for this super chat. Second super chat from you. Happy early birthday, Bob's mom. The inspector is taking off my hat and twisting it around. You crazy guy. Brentley, thanks for that. Mom, you're getting all kinds of super chats. I figure these are for you, Mom. So just total up the thing, and then when I'm up there next, I'll hand you the cash, Mom, for the birthday super chats. Dylan with the super chat. Thanks for this. Thanks for the super chat. So weird. Mine was Monday too. Happy birthday, Bob's mom. Oh my gosh. Dylan and Katie's birthdays were both Monday, and my mom's is tomorrow. Thanks for that super chat, Dylan. It's really nice. Moni's, you too, with the super chat. Thanks for that. Yeah, we can do that really fast. In fact, you know what? I tell you what. Let me put this guy back. Just give me 1 second. I don't know if I have a head or a tail. No. There we go. Let me put him back. He's ready to go. There you go, pal. You can roam around a little bit before you find your hide. And then Tiger Lily. She was in her whiskey sleeve earlier today, but she's moved. Oh, mama. Oh, she's getting big. Tiger Lily, who was not a good eater for about a year or so, has become a pretty good eater. She still just pretty much eats mice, but she does fine on them. Are you in shed? No. Well, maybe. Maybe just starting. So there is, oh, come on. Why won't it focus? You know, the one thing I love about her is that every shed, her whole life, what is she, 3 years old now? Over 3 years old? Every shed that she has, there's something noticeably different about her coloration, pattern, whatever. She's just a stunning snake. And hopefully we'll have some eggs from her this year, which I'm really excited about. This would be, if we do, this would be the first time that a snake that I've hatched out has then become a mama, because she was from my first clutch that I ever had. And she's just a delightful young lady. You coming up here too, mama? Hang on, let's see. I just saw super chat and now I've got a problem with my. Oh, there we go. Okay, Katie, different Katie this time. Thanks for the super chat. Hi, Bob. I have a yearling ball python and she is hooked on mice. I feed frozen thawed, but I'm trying to switch her to rats. Any tips? Yeah, so sometimes they are, like this one right here, this one right here. But see how nice and big and thick she is from eating a couple, sometimes just one. A lot of times she only takes one jumbo mouse, but I try to feed her two. She's done well on it, but it is better to switch them if you can. So, tricks to switching them. The best thing to do and the easiest thing to do is thaw out a mouse and thaw out a rat. Take your hairdryer and blow the mouse scent into the cage. Make sure that the snake knows that there's a mouse available and they come out looking for it in food mode. Quickly hand them the rat. That's the best thing to do. If they'll go for a switcheroo, that works a lot. Has not worked on this snake, obviously, but it does work a lot of the time. The other thing you can do before that, I don't know how often you're feeding, but if it's a younger snake, oh, it is, yeah, yearling. So let's say you're feeding once a week, which would be appropriate for a yearling. Give an extra week off. Wait 2 weeks before you offer food again. So they're really looking for it. And I mean, you could even wait 3 weeks, but it'll probably work at 2 weeks. So give that a try. There's a good chance that'll work, but it doesn't work on every snake. I don't worry about it too much. I kind of just feed my snakes what they like to eat. I do try to switch them because it's more convenient to feed one rat versus 2 jumbo mice. But if they don't want to switch, it's not that big of a deal. You'll see all over the internet people posting in the Facebook groups and the Reddit groups. They'll go, "Oh, rats are like it's like, I mean, mice is like feeding your snake cake instead of a meal or whatever." And they're saying that because they heard a YouTuber, and including me, I've said it before, say that rats have a higher nutritional value for ball pythons than mice do. But it's not that big of a difference, really, at all. Like we're not raising Olympian athletes. They're going to do just fine on mice, and if that's what they like to eat, that's great. They'll be healthy. They're not going to have any problems eating mice. You just you'll end up feeding them more because they outgrow the maximum size that a mouse gets to. So, like I said, it doesn't bother me that much if I have a snake that's on mice. Okay. Back to the Patreon questions. Nick and Julia ask, do you still accept fan mail? If so, what's the address we should send it to? Yes, I do. And I still get fan mail occasionally. The address is always it's in the description of every video, but it's at the very bottom. And nobody looks at the very bottom of those things. But if you're specifically looking for it, It's in the very bottom of the description of this video and then all my other ones. But we'll put it on the screen right now. Just pop it up there. That is the address if you want to mail me something. And, you know, people mostly send, you know, usually I get packages at that box, and the place emails me when I get a package, but they don't email me when I get letters. And so this year, like, I don't go there all the time. Sometimes it's, you know, a long time between trips to the mailbox, which is just down the street. But I went there right after Christmas and noticed that I had some lovely Christmas cards from one from Mitchell and one from Susie and Jeff Larkin sent me a Christmas card. I got them several weeks after Christmas because I don't get notification when a letter comes into my mailbox. Okay. Here we go. Back to it. Jenna says, I'm looking forward to the Minnesota herping trip. I am too. That's going to be so fun. We're going, some of the Patreon supporters and myself and Dave Kaufman are going herping in Minnesota. If you are in the Midwest and can get to Minnesota, we're doing that in May. If you're a Patreon supporter at any of the paid levels, you can get in on that trip. It's going to be super fun. There's a question that goes along with this that doesn't have anything to do with that, but I'm going to get to Becca's super chat real quick first, and then we'll go back to that one. Becca, thanks for this. What brands? Oh, and Amy's got flagging me down for something. Hang on, Amy. Let me read this. What brand / wattage heat RHPs do you use in your 4x2x2s? Have you ever mounted bulbs inside the enclosure with cages around them? I'm trying to stack my enclosures, and affordable RHPs seem to be sold out. You know, Becca, I don't know what's in there. I mean, the brand is Reptirad, but Black Box sets it all up for me. So I don't even know what those wattages are. I know that the Reptirad heat panels for my black-headed pythons are bigger and more powerful than the ones that I have for my other snakes. But there's a lot of brands that are good. I don't know what the wattage is because I'm sure Clint and I have talked about it at Black Box Cages, but he just sends me the cage all set up and ready to go. Okay, now we got Amy. Hi, what's up?
Did you get the super chat from Candy's Critters? It was a blank super chat, and her question is right below it.
Candy's Critters, thank you so much for that super chat. Thanks, Amy. I appreciate that. Question right below it. Just wanted to tell you the hairdryer trick ended my Hognoses short feeding strike. Thanks. Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. That's fantastic. Thanks for that super chat. I like hearing that works for people. That's one that I hear a lot. People say that the hairdryer trick works. It's a good trick. It blows hot rodent scent into the cage. Like, you know, it's ringing the dinner bell. Ghost01, thanks for this super chat. Fiona, my Aru green tree python, is in her temporary controlled rain chamber. I just got done building with leftover black box panels and plexiglass. She is healing. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. That's cool that you built her a rain chamber. That's awesome. Very cool. Congrats. Eric's Reptiles, thanks for the super chat. Could we see a quick look at one of your ball python's tub setup? I mean, I can get one. I can pull one out, but I don't want to move the camera. There's sort of a random one. This is this is a great example of just using junk. So this is Han. We'll bring Han out later. But this came from a shoe thing. He likes to sit in that. He's got one of these. He doesn't have a fake plant in here. He needs, oh, well, no. He's got a couple hides. and not quite enough substrate. I need to add more substrate. Some of them have fake plants, like tiger lilies that I'm looking at right now, but I don't want to pull out because it's a great big one. She's got a hide in the back. She's got this fake plant. She's got this Glenlivet box that she obviously sits in a lot. You can see it's all deformed. And I change stuff out, you know. They get a change out of different enrichment items and stuff like that. Okay, I'm going to put Tiger Lily back. All right. Here she goes. Say goodbye to Tiger Lily. She's probably going to go right back into that whiskey sleeve. Do you guys want to see the house snake? Should we pull him out? I gotta hang on one second. I've got to fix my. I got a new air conditioning situation, and it's run by AI. So you put it on auto, and it's supposed to just run, but the AI has to learn what you want. So it doesn't, like, it takes 2 or 3 weeks to get it to figure out what you want. But I just want it to be at like 75 degrees. But in the middle of the night, it'll go, I wonder if he wants it to be 82. And all of a sudden it'll start blowing heat like crazy. So I'll turn it back down to 75. And then in the middle of the day, they'll be like, I bet he wants it at 70. And I'm like, no, stop. So right now it's blowing heat like crazy, which I don't like. All right, let's get Dr. Harry Vanderspiegel. He's in a new cage. So a couple of things. He's in a new bioactive, which is totally different from him, because I'm guessing he was on paper before I got him, and then he's been on paper in my quarantine room for quite a while. He's never seen dirt before, and hang on. Peter, you're right. Thanks for the super chat. Skynet has control of the AC. Yes, absolutely. Thanks for that super chat to say that. Let's see. All right. Let's see, Harry. So, here's what I was telling you. He's in this new cage that he's getting used to, and he just ate last night. Like, I put him in the cage. I let him crawl around a little bit, and then I handed him food. I knew that even if he was stressed about being in a new new area, whatever, he's going to eat. Like, he's going to eat all the time. So I gave him some food because I thought, I'll give him a small meal and he'll relax, go in his hide, relax, which he did. And they have pretty fast metabolisms, and he got a pretty small meal. So I don't think he's working too hard on digesting right now. So let's grab him. Again, I'll say while I'm grabbing him, for those of you that are asking questions in the chat or have comments in the chat or whatever, if you make sure that you look at the chat after you ask your question, because people will answer it. Hang on. People will answer your question. I probably won't see it because I'm not looking at the chat very much while I'm doing this. If you want me to see it, send it as a super chat and I'll see it. But I think he might be in shed too. So we got all kinds of problems. He doesn't really have a pink belly, but maybe he doesn't get a pink belly when he goes into shed. I've never seen the snake in shed before, but he's looking a little dull. Let's wait till my camera focuses here. Telly, I see your super chat. I'll get to that in just a second. Here is Harry Vanderspiegel. He's such a cute little guy. I got some great footage of him exploring his new cage yesterday. That'll be coming up in a video pretty soon. Very Python-like, but he is fast and darty, which pythons generally are not fast and darty. He does pretty well. Once, you know, as soon as I have him, he wraps around my finger and he does okay. But getting him out of the cage is kind of a big deal. So I try not to grab him as much. And like, you know, with pythons, a python that is a little bit nervous, if I need to get him out of the cage, I'll use a hook and just bring him out that way. But he's going to dart away from a hook right away. Like if I put a hook under him, he's just going to go bloop and he'll be gone. So you kind of have to grab him. All right. Telecaster, thanks for this super chat. Hi, Bob. I had a scare today. I just found I had left the door open on my female ball python tank for more than 24 hours. Lucky she's in shed and never left her hide. Dodged a bullet tonight. Great stream as usual. Thank you. Glad you like the stream. That's crazy. That happens to people. That's happened to Amy before. It's a similar thing. Well, no, it's happened to me before. I didn't leave it fully overnight, but I left the inspector's cage unlocked. When I was in my old place, I left his cage unlocked accidentally. And at about midnight, while I was asleep, I hear a crash in my bedroom. And it was him crawling over my bedside table and then going under my bed. So it woke me up and I grabbed him and put him back in his cage. But that kind of thing happens. I also, I did a thing recently where I had a few snakes free roaming, and Stella was coming out. I leave everybody's cage door open. If they're out free roaming, I leave their cage door open. So Stella was starting to come out, and Handsome Dan was already out. He was up in that hide right there, sitting in that hide. And Stella was checking out his cage, like starting to poke around his cage, like she wanted to go in. So I just closed his door. No problem. Then I gathered up all my snakes later on that evening and left for the night. And I was gone all night. I left for all night. And then the next day I had a child's birthday party to go to. And so I went straight there and came back at 3 p.m. I came back and Handsome Dan is in that hide right there. So I had left him all night and half the day. And fortunately, he is that personality where he's just happy in a hide. He had no reason to leave. So so that was that. We've all done it. Fortunately, this place is snake proofed. So if he did want to go on a stroll, he could do it and he would be safe. But I don't want to have to look for him, you know. Jenna, thanks for this super chat. What lightly peated Scotch should I buy for a friend who's branching out? Do you like Limveni? Did you ask me this question in the? Hang on, I think I have this question from you already. I'm planning to answer it, or is this from somebody else? Hold on a second. Hang on, man. We got a lot of questions today, you guys. Wait a second. Oh, I know. Oh, I know what it is. There were two questions that were asked at the end of this. I'm sure that this is you. That's crazy. I sent it to myself and then I don't see it here. Bummer. Hang on. Oh, I didn't send it to myself. I didn't hit send. Okay, wait. Jenna, yes, that is you. Hang on. Okay, Amy, are you flagging me down because you're going to tell me that this is Jenna's question? Is that what you're trying to? Is there anything else you want to say? Hang on. Hi, Amy. Hi, Katie. Katie's here, you guys. Okay, I got to figure it out.
Hang on.
I just had one thing to tell you. You acted so shocked that it was my birthday, but I have a Marco Polo from Monday of you telling me happy birthday.
I did say happy birthday to you.
So that's right. You did know it was my birthday.
Nice. I did. I Marco Polo'd you, and I said happy birthday. All right.
Would you like me to read you Jenna's other question that she asked?
I got it.
Did you find it? Okay.
I pulled it up. Thanks, though. Thanks for being willing to do that.
Sure. I'm sitting here staring at it. I can help if you need me to.
Okay. Jenna, I got you. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. There were 2 questions that came in really late that I almost didn't get to, or, you know, almost didn't see, but I saw it at the last minute and then wrote them down. So what you asked on Patreon is, have you tried Blvd single malt Irish whiskey? Really pleasantly surprised, and I quite enjoy it. I haven't tried it. Blvd. Yeah, I don't even know it. So I would like to try it because I like single malts and I like Irish. And when you meld those 2 together, that's amazing. The one that comes to mind that I do drink sometimes is Connemara, because that's a heavily peated single malt made in Ireland. But it's kind of like just drinking an Islay Scotch. So hang on. You had a second part to this question too. I'm going to put Harry back because I'm pretty sure he is in shed. He doesn't need me holding him. So there's Harry. He'll be brighter next time you see him. All right, pal. Poor guy. He's in a brand new environment. He just ate yesterday. He's in shed, and this big monkey's jostling him around. Okay, so the other part to the question that Jenna had was also needing a peated Scotch without too much smoke. This is what you're asking in your super chat, for a friend who's venturing out of their bourbon rut. That's great. I love suggesting Scotch or Irish to somebody who likes bourbon, but they just don't know what else is out there. They liked Kilbegan Irish, which I don't know that one either, but wanted something with a little less smoke. Okay, so if you want a Scotch that has some peat in it, but it's less, the way that I think about this is I think of ones where I read on the bottle that it's peated or lightly peated, and I'm like, I don't even taste the peat in this, because my palate is so accustomed to the super smoky, very strong peated whiskeys that sometimes I don't detect it, but other people do. So Highland Scotch 12 or Highland Park 12 is really good. I don't taste the peat in it, but it is lightly peated, and most other people can taste the peat. And I highly recommend that. The other one is Kalila 12. Kalila 12 is, I think, a little bit more expensive than Highland Park, but also very good. I think just because of the price, I would do the Highland Park, because it's not super cheap, but I think Kalila is considerably more. I might be wrong about that. I haven't bought Kalila 12 in a long time, but both really good, both lightly peated. I would try those. Okay. Back to this screen. Okay, let me get my glasses back on. We got another super chat. Zach, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. I've seen so many different options on appropriate heating lighting for ball pythons, from halogen, RHP, DHP, CAG, and whether ball pythons need UVB or not. It's a lot. So tired of researching this topic. So are you asking me my thoughts on it? Here are my thoughts. A lot of people, there is some benefit to halogen. They get some parts of the spectrum that they don't get with a non-lighted heat source. The main problem is that you need your snake to have a day-night cycle, and you want them to have 24 access to heat. So if you don't have another heat source that's non-lighted that you can switch to, the halogen light isn't going to work because they're going to have a massive heat drop at night when you turn that light off. So that's why I don't like a lighted heat source. But deep heat projector, CHE, radiant heat panel, heat mat. You're going to hear a lot of people say, don't use a heat mat. Heat mats work just fine. You're trying to get heat to your animal so that they can digest their food. There are more, they get more benefits with some of the overhead heating sources. But different cage setups work. These different heating options work better with different cage setups. So for instance, if you have a really tall glass cage, which I don't recommend, but if you have one for a ball python, an overhead heat situation is not going to work very well. You're going to need to use a heat mat. So anyway, that's that. As far as UVB, everybody's going to argue with everybody about UV, but the fact is that there are no conclusive studies that say that UV provides appreciable benefit to ball pythons. People will tell stories anecdotally. You hear a lot of people anecdotally say that they gave their UV to their ball python and nothing, they don't see any different behavior. You'll hear other people say that their ball python will bask in it. I don't hear that very often. But I've heard people say, oh, they'll throw a coil out and bask in it. I don't know. I would like to see an actual study done, but studies cost a lot of money, and there's no reason for the government to pay for that study. Amy, are you saying that I have 3 more super chats? Thank you. She's just holding the number 3 up. Natalie, thanks for the super chat. Been doing research for about 7 months, and I've decided on a ball python. If I take my snake outside enough, will it get used to being there? Sure. Yeah. I don't recommend taking your snake in public. I have a whole video about that. I don't like seeing that because it causes stress to the snake and to other people. But that's another one that folks will argue with me all day about, and that's okay. But if you're taking them out into the backyard or something like that, putting them on the grass, as long as it's not like fertilized or something like that, the grass is just organic and safe. That's great. And they do get used to different environments. When my snakes come out of their cages and roam around this room, they get used to what's here and what they like about it. And they learn that it's a safe space. I have another room that my snake wall is in, and the snakes that are on the snake wall know that room as well, because they can come off the snake wall and cruise all over and whatever, because that one is snake proofed as well. So that'll happen with outside too. They'll get used to you bringing them outside, whether you let them roam all over or just are holding them, Okay, Amy, thanks for this super chat. I've been working on consent-based handling. And my 2 ball pythons have 2 different reactions. My male tries to hide and sneak out. My female will sit on my hand and won't leave her cage. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, every snake is an individual. And so even within, you got 2 of the same species, they're going to react differently. Some are more shy than others. Some are more outgoing. Some are less trusting, more trusting. So it's the cool thing is you're getting to learn your individual snake's behaviors, and you can, you can adjust how you work with them based on how you expect them to react, as you learn that. So choice-based handling, stuff like that, target training, anything like that, is a lot of that training is about the snake training you as well. Like, you're learning your snake while they're learning what you want them to do, honestly, they don't care what you want them to do, but they're learning a behavior that gets them somewhere, like, target training is the good example. They're learning that they get food if they follow that target, Nips Critters, thanks for the super chat. It's pretty subtle when my albino house snake goes into shed. Oh, that's good information, because I don't know what, you know, this is pretty subtle too. But I could tell once I looked at him more, I could tell that his eyes are blue, which they're so tiny anyway, but his eyes are blue and he's a little dull. So it's pretty clear that he's in shed. Cork bark, cork tubes can make great little tight spots for them if you want hide ideas. Yeah, you're right. I've got a nice little piece of cork. I mean, he's in his 2 just black plastic hides in there, but I also have some cork in that bioactive. The little bioactive is right there. It's just that little cage. 18-inch cube, just tiny. He's tiny. He probably won't outgrow that cage because males are smaller than females. But who knows? So now I've got my house snake taking up real estate in the green room. This house snake that I did not expect to have until Garrett said, let me just give you one. Just play with it. See what you think. Which was really nice. He gave me a really cool one. Another one from Nifters Critters. Thanks for the super chat. Nifters, happy birthday, Mama B. My rescue doggo turns 16 tomorrow. Oh, that's cool. I'll tell him he's in good birthday company. Have an amazing day. That's so nice. You guys are so nice for wishing my mom a happy birthday. Sending all these super chats. I'm going to owe my mom so much money when I see her next. I just noticed Rose is saying update on Banjo. I have a great update on Banjo. It's been collecting dust, you know, and I haven't been playing it much. It's probably out of tune right now. Oh, I bet you were talking about Banjo the Snake. Yeah, I'll give you an update on him. That was my really long joke, you guys. It was just a name joke, and it took so long. Banjo, actually, I don't want to bring him out because he had a big meal yesterday. But he's doing well. He's growing. And I actually just put up a short on YouTube and the other platforms with his last feeding where I fed him 5 reptilinks that were relatively small, but that was pretty cool to watch him eat those reptilinks. Crisis Corpse, thanks for the super chat. Brandiala wants to know about taking a ball python outside and is worried about gopher holes and the snake getting into them. Can you give advice? Yeah, be right near your snake. You know, they're not a ball python isn't going to just dart down a gopher hole, but if you're not watching them, they like to look at a hole. You know, they look into a hole and they're like, yeah, that's not going to be dangerous at all. Let me just go. So definitely, if you have gopher holes in your yard, let your snake wander, but be right there with your eyes on them at all times. You know, if you had a colubrid and put them in the yard, they'd be gone, right? Because they're super fast. But yeah, that is only a concern with a slow-moving snake if you're not keeping an eye on them and you're not right there with them, which you'll want to be. Martine, thanks for the super chat. During handling, my ball python does the periscope and is almost never still. How to make the difference between a curious ball python that explores and one that is annoyed, scared, and wants to get away from handling. Yeah, it sounds like your snake is doing fine. If he's periscoping, just moving around, periscoping. They're not, you know, periscoping kind of puts them in a vulnerable position. If they think there's predators out, they're not going to go, hey, look at me, and periscope, right? So your snake probably would like to explore, would like to get away and explore, but not because they're scared of you or mad at you or anything like that. A very nervous, shy snake that's super nervous about being held is going to be super tense, and they're not going to move around very much. So your snake is just going, oh, I'm out. Let me see if I can get over here. How about over here? Let me check out this, you know, and that's cool. Yeah, sounds like the snake is doing well. All right. Are we beyond the first page of this yet, you guys? Remember when I said this was going to be 3 hours? We're only an hour in, and we got okay. Here we go. This might be a marathon. This might be a marathon live stream. Again, for those, I'm just going to say this again. If you guys are asking me questions in the chat, ask your question and then look at the chat because other people will answer it. If you want me to see it, super chat it. Okay. Because that will flag me or flag Amy. And then we will stop with the reading of these questions that were pre-prepared and we'll get to your super chat. All right. Oh, Jenna. So I was only halfway through. Do you remember when Jenna said, I'm looking forward to the Minnesota herping trip? And I said, oh, me too. It's going to be super fun. You guys should come on the herping trip with Dave Kaufman and I and the Patreon supporters. And then I ended up doing a super chat. I feel like this was 6 hours ago. She has an actual question now. Do your female snakes soak when they're building follicles? Yes, they do. They either bull wrap or soak. That's pretty common. They just want to cool off. You know, it's their way of cooling. And getting into some water does that for them. Pretty common and normal and okay for them to do, you know. Azara says, yay, Valentine's stream. Happy Valentine's, everyone. What pairings are you looking to do this year? I have a lot of pairings going on this year. I pretty much paired up everybody because I didn't think many snakes were going to go this year since we moved. And a lot of times when you move into, you know, you move your snakes enclosures into a new place, they know they're in a new place and it takes them a year to get used to things. Although I now believe that many of my snakes are going to go this year. I think I'm going to have a lot of babies. So there's a lot of pairings. I've got Kodiak putting in some work. Kodiak is my visual clown pied. And I've got him with Molly Malone, who's an Ultramel het pied. I've got him with Anya, who's an Axanthic het pied. So we're going to end up with some pieds that are het for clown and Ultramel clown and, clown and Axanthic, stuff like that. We're going to have some freeway combos this year. I got a couple snakes that are going to give us freeway combos, a few snakes, a bunch of cool stuff. We're going to have a bunch of cool stuff and a bunch of stuff for people who are saying, I want babies from that side. I want babies from Tiger Lily. I want babies from, you know, there's a lot of people that I love that through this channel, my individual snakes have their own little fan bases, which is really cool. And I like that I can, you know, provide baby snakes to the people that love those individual snakes. You guys, Clint is in from Black Box Cages. Clint, I hope you're feeling better. Not to air your laundry, but Clint was sick last week, you guys. Hope you're feeling better, pal. Let's chat because we need to chat about cages, Clint. I need a few cages here in the green room. So we are going to talk about that. You guys ask Clint your caging questions in the chat while he's here. Okay. Did I miss a, hang on. Let me make sure that I'm all caught up. Okay. Here we go. Zara's also saying, did your snakes get you any Valentine's Day gifts this year? Yeah, I got a couple sheds. And then Kata was really nice. She gave me the most horrible poop ever the other day. She was real proud and smug about it. Had to completely clean out her cage just for that one poop. Just done. Everything goes out into cleaned everything. Full clean out. Okay. Erica says, have you given any more thought to handling, or sorry, nope, that's not what she says. Have you given any more thought to getting Handsome Dan a girlfriend in the future? I won't have any centrals for a couple years. I'm just curious. You know, Erica, I always say that I'm not planning to breed Handsome Dan, but anytime I'm at a reptile show, I spend a lot of time at snake country talking to them about snakes. And then I talk to a couple of people. I do look into it when there's boas around, but currently the plan is not to breed. Here's the problem with centrals is that they don't breed until they're like, the females, they got to be like 6 years old. So, you know, I was looking at one and maybe doing a deal on a female, and I was like, do I want to raise a female for 6 years? You know, just because I have a boa, I don't need to feel like I don't need to breed every snake that I have. But it would be cool to breed a snake that doesn't lay eggs. I would like to have the experience of breeding a boa, but I think if I do that one of these days, maybe I'll look into getting a snake that's not a hatchling. Maybe it's a few years old at least, you know, so I don't have to wait 6 years. I don't know. We'll see. I like the idea though. You know what, Erica? Hold back a couple of your females when you have centrals, and then talk to me 3 or 4 years from that time. And maybe I'll be ready to pair Handsome Dan. Moniz, thanks for the super chat. Have you given more thought to coming to Canada? I always think about coming to Canada. I love Canada. Where in Canada are you, Moniz? I would love to go to Canada. Where's that massive garter snake population in? It's like southern Canada in the middle. It's like above Minnesota, not far, I think. I might be wrong, but it's where all the garter snakes are, thousands of them. They're big breeding bull. I want to see that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Anyway, I love Canada. Yeah, I do think about coming to Canada. I'm sure it'll happen one of these days. Here we go. Tara Patton says, what temperature do you incubate your eggs at? Any tips you've learned about breeding that may help someone new, like maybe a good resource for breeding information? That is something that I let people know often, because I get, so first of all, for your first question, 87, 88. There, I incubate a little bit lower than a lot of people, so it takes the eggs a little longer to hatch. Takes the snakes a little bit longer to hatch, but I think it's better to incubate lower than higher. But I don't do a lot of breed. You know, I'll talk about morphs sometimes. I'll talk about genetics and things like that, but I don't do how to breed videos on this channel. I've just chosen not to do that because there's so much out there. And I also haven't watched any how to breed videos in a long time. So I'm sure there are plenty of channels that do a great job. But the two that I always say that I like a lot is I like Gavin at Balls to You. He's in the UK and he does a really great job at explaining things. He's got a lot of breeder videos go look at his older stuff, because I think his older stuff is more how to breed. And then Rob at Royal Balls, he has a smaller channel, but he's a really smart guy. And I think he's doing some more behavior stuff now, things like that. But he used to pretty much just do breeder stuff as far as I know. And he's really good at explaining things and breaking it down. So Balls to You and Royal Balls are great. And then there's a ton of others too. You know, obviously the big channels like Canova and Billy Rose are great, but a lot of times those videos are just here are the morph. Look at these morphs. You know, it's not like how-to stuff, although they probably have how-to videos on their channel from a while back. So those could be good to look at too. Shark, thanks for the super chat. Any non-surgical options for a senior Mexican black king snake girly with a very impacted scent gland? I started to bother her, but I don't want to risk surgery at her age. Gosh, I have no idea, Shark. I'm sorry. I can't help you with that. That's a bummer. I mean, that's a vet thing, you know, to talk to the vet about that and let them know your concerns. They may have the same concern and have a solution. But I don't know anything about scent glands. That is totally out of my wheelhouse. Sorry. I appreciate that super chat though. Sorry I couldn't help. Here we go. Birdie says, I'm curious, what's the longest one of your ball pythons went without eating? That would be Lucille, who went, oh, I don't have a snake, by the way. That would be Lucille, who went 6 months with me, I think 6 months, when I first got her, but she had not been eating for 2 months before that. So she went a really long time and then just decided to eat one day. So, and she does very well now. But a great example of the fact that ball pythons will not starve themselves unless they have some, like a serious medical condition, you know. Dark Moon Dragon, thanks for the super chat. Bob, the red-sided garter mating event is in Manitoba. Yes, thanks for that. I posted a pic in the Discord a little while ago, and I took of a U-Haul truck that had Manitoba and garters on it that mentioned this phenomenon. Oh, I remember that. I think I saw your post, Dark Moon. I think I saw your post on the Discord. Green Room Python's Discord, by the way, you guys. There's a link in the description of this video, but I bet Amy would post a link to it. You got to have the link to join, but it's free to join, and it's a great community over there, by the way. Thomas, thanks for the super chat. Sipping on Ribe Mahode honey. Oh, honey mead. Great. Cool, cool. For the stream tonight, great content, and thanks a million for your informative videos. Cheers. Oh, that's fantastic. Mead is great. For those of you who don't know, mead is probably the first alcohol ever that was ever discovered, because it's just fermented honey. And they think that probably what happened millions of years ago is somebody had some honey sitting out in a vat, and it rained, and some natural yeast got to it, and it fermented, and then they drank that stuff and went, hey, we should try to make this. And I've made mead before. I've made really good mead. I've made some bad mead also, but I've made some really good orange mead where I floated a whole bunch of like cloves and cinnamon and oranges, and man, so good. It's a process. And I eventually got rid of all my mead making stuff. But you can literally, like, if you have a big carboy that you can ferment in, you can literally just have it in the closet and have a big, 5 gallons of mead fermenting in your closet. It's pretty cool. I like mead. Okay. I think we got all the super chats. Thanks for those, you guys. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, Phil says, I target train Maxine with a blue reflector for feeding. Do I need to worry about other blue objects that might set her off when it's not feeding time? No, it's not just color-based. They see the thing presented. They're in their cage. They're in a certain environment. They get that thing presented and they recognize that thing, so that is probably not going to confuse them. Unless you have a thing that is very, very much looks like their target, but just anything that color won't be a problem. Question number 2 is, if for any reason I need to feed Maxine 2 rats back to back, do I wait until that bulge is gone out of her neck, or do I just wait until she closes her mouth after the first rat and then give her the second? It really doesn't matter depending on whether they'll take it or not, but I always wait. So first of all, for those wondering, normally we say to feed your ball python one appropriately sized prey item, but occasionally, like, let's say you have a snake that eats small rats and you ran out of small rats, but you still have a bag of weaned rats. So you just give them 2 and that equals a small, or 2 smalls instead of a medium, something like that. And that's pretty common to do occasionally. You don't want to feed like that constantly, but, or you don't need to feed like that constantly. Oh, you guys, I just noticed Riley is in from Riley's Reptiles. This is a channel that I really like also, you guys. If you haven't seen Riley's Reptiles, he works with a lot of non-ball python snakes and breeds them. And he's got fantastic stuff. So check out his channel. Hi, Riley. Good to see you, man. Oh, this is nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, this community is very engaged and engaged with one another too, which I love. I love that you guys, like, you jump on the Discord and you guys are all helping each other and supporting each other. Same with on Patreon, stuff like that. It's cool. Anyway, good to see you in here, Riley. What was I saying? Oh, the rat thing. So if you're in that situation where you're like, oh, I got to feed my ball python 2 smaller prey items, I always wait till the bulge is out of their neck, which just means that they've got that rodent in their belly, and then they're most likely ready to take another one. This snake is a great example because she sometimes she'll take rats for a while, and then all of a sudden she just wants mice. So I want to feed her 2 or 3 jumbo mice sometimes, and then so I just wait till she swallows the first one, and then I offer her a second, and that's how we do it. Some snakes are so food hungry, though, that they will strike at the second one while the tail of the first one is still hanging out of their mouth. So I just don't offer at that time, you know, because it's kind of weird. I like to let them swallow it. Good question, though, Phil. Barbara says, when measuring the temperature of a frozen thawed rat prior to feeding, should we be using the body temp mode or surface temp mode on the temp gun? And what is the ideal temp? You know what, Barbara, I don't have a temp gun with a body temp mode. They always say on these temp guns that they're not for temping your body, which I don't understand why. Why wouldn't it work on skin if it works on every other surface? I don't get it. But clearly you have a temp gun that has a body temp mode. You want the surface temp, to answer your question. You want surface temp. And then, wait, hang on. Oh, you're saying because it is a body. You know, mine only measures surface temp and it's fine. What is the ideal temp? For me, I like to get the rodent over 100 degrees, even though a live rodent isn't over 100 degrees, but that strong of a heat signature will, you know, if you've got a snake that's a little bit reluctant to strike, somewhere between 100 and 110 will get them to strike. So that's what I go for if I need to heat up the rodent that much, you know. Okay. There we go. All right. So back to this. See, this is the kind of thing. Like, I just happened to notice that Riley was in, and I want to say hi to Riley if he's in, but I never see the chat. So there's a huge chance that I would have never seen him jump in. And then tomorrow when I'm reading the chat, going through the chat, I'll be like, oh my gosh, Riley showed up and I didn't say hi. I would have felt terrible. But that happens. So, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in this chat that I'm not seeing, and I apologize for that. I will see it tomorrow, but I won't be able to answer it tomorrow. Anyway, all right, let's get back to this. So we just answered Phil's questions. Barbara's questions. All right. LR says, is it possible that we just don't fully understand the needs of ball pythons in captivity, and that's why they go off food? It would be weird for an animal to evolve that doesn't eat for months to even a year when it has a chance. Plus, most other snake species don't have this problem. Thanks for answering. You know, what we do know about ball pythons is that they will go off food to express discontent. I mean, they're not expressing discontent to you, but if they have a problem with anything, their first thing to do is not eat, or the first thing to not do is not eat. And so that's a big reason that they go off food. Another reason that they go off food is to just give themselves a break, I think. You know, we kind of have to speculate on this, but we're used to feeding our snakes. A lot of keepers feed their snakes every single week, even once they're beyond that juvenile stage, which they don't need, you know, every 2 weeks and even every 3 weeks. If you have a large pet ball python, 1 meal every 3 weeks is just fine for them. So in the wild, they're not getting a meal every week. They're not even getting a meal every 2 weeks. So I do feel like we tend to overfeed these snakes, and they'll get to a point where they'll be like, okay, I've had enough. I'm fine for a few months. You know, I'll eat when I'm ready, but I'm fine for a while. So, but I say that, you know, the problem with saying that is somebody's going to have a snake that's gone off food and they're going to go, oh, they just decided not to eat. But there's actually a problem with their husbandry. And so I always encourage people to continue trying to figure out if there's something wrong. Just tighten up that husbandry. Make sure you've got everything right. Make sure your snake's comfortable. You're not stressing them out somehow. Your temps and humidity, all that stuff is great. And then, you know, they'll eat when they're ready, pretty much. But we've kept ball pythons for quite a while. They are the most popular. I think they're the most popular snake in the world. Might be corn snakes, but I think it's ball pythons. And I think we can always learn. You know, we always learn new stuff. I learn new stuff with my snakes every day, and we as a reptile hobby keep evolving and learning new things. But I think that behavior of them going off food, figuring out that it's usually a problem. Like they'll just stop eating when they're feeling stressed about something. I don't think they act like that in the wild. I think there's, you know, these are generations and generations and generations of snakes bred into captivity. They definitely act differently here in our homes than they would in the wild. So that's my thought on that. Mended Slinky, thanks for the super chat. Cool hat. Where can I get one like it? You know, Mended Slinky, I got this hat in Idlewild, California at a gift shop that I was just killing time, wandered into this gift shop. I hate gift shops. I don't like knickknacks, but it happened to be a gift shop / hat store where they had cool hats. And I bought this one. So I don't know. I don't know where you can get it, but unless you're in Idlewild, California. But I like it too. It's been through quite a lot. Oh, let's get a snake. Who do you guys want to see? And then I'll keep going with this. Let's get oh, you know who's out? This one. Let's get Maya. Let's see what she's up to. She's been in superfood mode lately. Can you guys see? So let's see what her body does when I just touch her. All right, so she's a little bit she's a little bit checking me out. Okay, I'll let her get to the. Sometimes if she's in superfood mode, I'll touch her back and she immediately pushes up against, which is black-headed python body language for that might be a prey item. I'm going to push that thing against the wall until I can whip around and grab it, which is not what most pythons do, but black-headed pythons do that. The other thing is sometimes she just whips around with an open mouth if she's in really strong food mode. So I always touch her back to just see what her mood's like. But we'll bring her out in just a minute. Okay. Oh, Amy's trying to get my attention. Clearly for a while. Hang on.
Hi. I've been trying to tell you for a while that you need co-host. I've been trying so hard to flag you down. So I finally just wrote you a note. But you specifically asked me to remind you at the beginning of this live stream that Pip had been recommended by several people on Patreon questions.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You know what? Let me grab Pip. Let me talk about Pip for a second while she's coming out. And whenever she ends up out, I'll grab her.
Hi, guys. How's it going? For those of you who haven't seen in the chat, we're trying to break a length record for Green Room Python live streams tonight. And also likes record, which is gonna be hard because people can still like the live stream afterwards. So our like record is 454 likes. So go like the live stream right now if you haven't already.
Okay, I didn't know about this little game.
You didn't know about what?
I didn't know about this little game that we're playing. We're trying to break a length record and a likes record.
Yeah, at the rate you're going tonight, we're gonna easily break the length record.
It's very possible.
I was telling Katie about 35 minutes ago, I was telling Katie, we're barely at an hour and we haven't even finished the first page of questions yet. And the super chats just kept coming and coming. I was like, I think we're gonna break the record. And then you were like, I told you this was gonna be a marathon, and we're just chatting about it we're like, what's the longest one?
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. But I'm getting great questions I mean, I have great questions here for Patreon, but I'm getting great questions in the super chats also. So here, I'm going to drop you out. Thanks for that, Amy.
Bye.
I'll show you Pip. Here's little Pip, everybody's favorite tiny, hang on. Everybody's favorite tiny pygmy python. Such a sweet lady. It's going to be fun to do in the future, not anytime soon, because I need to have my house snake for a while, but it'll be fun to do a little comparison between pygmy pythons and house snakes. Jake, thanks. I see that. I know Maya's on the run. She's doing her thing. I'll grab her. She's up on top of things now. Anyway, Pip is doing great in her little bioactive cage. I just added a second plant to. Oh, this was fun. Yesterday I added, she only has one plant. I need plants that are sort of dry tolerant because they don't live in a humid environment. So I keep her humidity kind of low, I just don't pay attention to it that much. And so I have a plant in there that's kind of dry tolerant. And then I got a snake plant, a little snake plant that I put in there yesterday because they're good with being watered like once a month. And she lives in she's got this little tiny jewelry box that she curls up in, but she sticks her little head out so she can see stuff. And if I'm doing something in there, she pokes her little head out with these little orange eyes. Hang on. Oh, there we go. With those little orange eyes to see what's going on. And as soon as I closed her cage, she came right out and inspected that snake plant. She crawled all over it. And because she's so tiny, it didn't move the plant at all. Snake plants are sturdy and she's so tiny, she just crawls all over it. It's pretty cute. And then she got a meal. So I'm going to put her back because she's got a meal in her belly. Wasn't a very big one. She's probably okay, but there we go. Say goodbye to Pip. And then let me see what I can do with Maya, who is, wait, let me try to get her again. Nope. Oh, there we go. I mean, she's looking good. I love this little snake. Super cute. Okay. Let's get a big snake. Hey, Mama, what are you doing up here? Come here. Come here. Why are you so big, huh? Come here. Ooh. Why are you so big? I mean, for a black-headed python, she's not huge. But she's big compared to what she used to be. She's a big girl. So here's Maya. The best hunter in the green room. Right here. She spends a lot of time hunting around this place. She's all about looking for food. Oh, Riley, you've got 2 gravid females. That's cool. Riley, remind me where you work. I don't know if I'll see it. Remind me what the place you work at a facility, right? Is it like a open to the public facility? Yeah, hope she's a little bit crazy right now, but usually when I'm holding her, she's not in food mode. Although she's kind of being a little untrustworthy right now. Yeah, that's what I thought, Riley. Half breeding facility. Wait, where are you? We should talk, Riley. I should come by, because I drive through Sacramento several times a year. I'd love to come by and see that facility, see what you guys have. Sorry, Mama, you're being crazy though. You gotta relax a little bit. I'm trying to show you off and trying to show that you're a nice snake. The black-headed pythons aren't scary. That's all we're trying to do. Okay. So it's been a long time since Maya bit me, and she's quite a bit bigger now. Still wouldn't be a big deal, but they tend to have a stronger bite pressure than other snakes. So, you know, as she gets bigger, I just kind of don't want to get bit by this one. You know? Yeah, let's see. I see that comment, Riley. I'll see it tomorrow. I'll take a look at it tomorrow. We'll have a chat. Okay, where are we at? We got to do more. Trying to pay attention to the snake and make sure I'm not going to get. Oh, here, right as I was going to get back to the Patreon questions. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. Do you feed multiples when you're target training? Mine seem to lose interest after the first one, even if it's small. Have you had issues with your teenager males deciding they don't want to target? I don't know if you're talking about ball pythons or not, but that would make sense with some individual ball pythons. You know, they get a meal and then they're like, that's fine. No big deal. I don't target train my ball pythons anymore. I have target trained a number of them, but I just don't now because I've done it as an experiment to see how they would take to the target training, but I don't really need to do it with ball pythons anymore because I use it more as a food cue than anything else. I don't even target train Maya anymore because for her, I wanted it to be a food cue, and she did well with it when I was training her. I'll answer your question in a second though, because I know I'm going off on a tangent. For her, it was a food cue and she did fine with it. But as she got bigger, I think it's better mental enrichment for her if I just hide a couple prey items around and let her go hunting for them. And that's what I do with both my black-headed pythons now, because that's natural enrichment for them. So Jenny, your question is, do you feed multiples when you're target training? Yes, I have before, but only with snakes that are superfood motivated. And I'm really only target training superfood motivated snakes anyway. But it helps to do some extra repetition, you know, on those snakes. I did it, especially the super dwarfs. I did multiples with them for quite a while, and that worked really nicely. Okay. All right. Back to the Patreon questions. You guys came up with some really good stuff. I just don't know where I'm at this point. Yeah, I do. We're at the Harpers. Let's see. Keith and Mary Harper are asking. We have this. I love this one. We're going to talk about this. We found that our pythons. These are ball pythons that they have. We found that our pythons are more likely to eat if we play electronic dance music with a heavy bass beat before and during feeding time. Have you encountered this phenomenon, and why do you think this is? We have two theories. Either the rhythm sounds like the heartbeat of a potential prey animal, putting them in hunting mode, or the low frequency vibrations mask potentially disturbing environmental sounds, making them feel more at ease and willing to take a meal, much in the same way as some humans find noise relaxing? Or could it be something else? What do you reckon? So I think that's really interesting. I haven't found anything like that, but obviously if you are playing music with strong bass beats, they're going to hear that, they're going to feel that vibration. And my guess is that it has something to do with, if they're on a trail and they feel vibration, that could be a prey item running down the trail. So it may have something to do with that, but super interesting behavior. And also, speaking of Keith Harper, Keith is our DM for Dungeons and Dragons over on the Discord server. We have for our Patreon supporters, we've had a long-standing Dungeons and Dragons campaign going with Keith doing a brilliant job as DM. But Keith is very busy now because, Keith lives in the UK. I've known Keith and Mary for a while. They've been supporters of the channel since the very beginning. Keith is the nicest, most affable guy. And because of that personality, I have a feeling that he's like a secret agent for the government over there in England. And my guess is that they're sending him on trips around the world to, I don't know, take out bad guys or something, is my guess. But the point is, he can't DM anymore, for now at least. So we're looking for a DM. I just noticed this in the Discord. I didn't even know, because I'm not in on that campaign. But the reason I'm saying this is we need a DM. If anybody, even if you're not on Patreon right now, if you have DM experience and you want to take a go at this, Keith has a whole world already built, or you could start a new one. Keith he built a whole snake based world. It's fantastic. But anyway, if anyone wants to DM, if you're already on Patreon, just let us know. Or if you're not, you can just join at the lowest tier and be our DM, because there's a lot of people, I think, who want to jump back in and do Dungeons and Dragons again. And we wish Keith luck on taking out the enemies of England. Okay. Ooh, I get to flip a page, you guys. We're flipping a page. We're getting through these. All right. Lacey says, do ball pythons ever start to go into shed and then stop for whatever reason? My ball python has started to go into shed before. Blue eyes, pink belly, and then his eyes and coloration go back to normal without him shedding. I did a full tank clean and couldn't find a shed. He's done this twice, and then would actually shed for real maybe a month or two later. So that's really interesting. I have heard somebody in the past, like years ago, describe this, where they're like, look, I know that snakes clear up before they shed, and then they shed. Because that's, new keepers all the time. They're like, I can't find my snake shed. And people are like, just wait, give it a day. But Lacey is saying that the snake cleared up, couldn't find the shed. I don't think, have you guys ever had the experience of like a ball python eating a shed? That's not something they normally do. I don't know. I basically have no answer for you, Lacey. I'm sorry. It's pretty crazy behavior. And no. So my answer is no, because you're asking, do ball pythons ever start to go into shed and then stop for whatever reason? No, because what's happening there, those blue eyes and everything are, that is a fluid in between their old layer of skin and new layer of skin. They get that coloration and the eyes go blue because that fluid is happening and that shed is coming off. So something is happening with that shed. Hang on, something is also happening with my snake. I need to make sure that she's, let me just close a bathroom door in here. I don't like them going into the bathroom. And then I'm going to stand here while she gets out from under my chair. Okay, did I answer that question? I think I did. hang on. Found this thing that fell off my mic. Oh, I'm going to put it right there. Okay. All right. Maya's good. She's sort of out of the way. Just going to let her roam for a little bit. And we'll get another snake. Who else do you guys want to see? Amy's flagging me down. Hi.
Hi. You missed a super chat from Brentley.
Ooh, thanks.
And you also have a couple more super chats.
Oh my gosh. Hang on. What? I'm at the end. Did I just skip a bunch accidentally? Oh, right. So I see Chad, I see Barbara.
And then you addressed Jenna's, but Brentley's was like way up above that.
Oh, really?
He said he would love to see the Bradleys.
Yeah.
And you have like a lot of recommendations for Bella and Koa.
Okay.
Or at least Koa.
Okay, got it. All right, we'll get Koa out. Brentley, thanks for that super chat. I will get the Brettles. That's Koa. I will get him out in just a moment. Let me just take care of these super chats that I missed. Thanks for flagging me, Amy.
Welcome.
Katie, who do you got there? A snake that I produced?
Yeah, I got Boo Boo.
Little Boo Boo, the prettiest snake ever.
He got a whole bunch of new freckles with this latest shed.
Nice. His brother did too. That's
I just counted them, and he's got like 20. That's
fantastic. All right.
Dog parts are so bad, you guys. It's awful.
Oh, your dog is hotboxing you. Okay. Hi, you guys. Okay. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. Oh, wait, hold on. I got Jenna's already. And now we're going down to Barbara's. Okay, Barbara, thanks for the super chat. My ball python sits at her door every night, but always bumps my hand away if I try to touch her. She doesn't strike, but wants to be left alone. Should I try handling her more, or should I just leave her be? So this is pretty common that that they, if you try to touch them, they'll kind of bump a coil because they don't like to be touched. That's not something that they want. A good thing to do is if they're sitting at their door, just open the door and see what she does. You can offer a hand, let her decide what she wants to do. Rather than just going in and grabbing, because they definitely don't like that. And once if you do more choice-based handling, they'll get to the point where they trust you enough that then going in and grabbing them is not really a big deal. With pretty much all my ball pythons, I can go in and scoop them up. I usually go from under. I don't grab from the top usually, but I'll kind of scoop from under, and it's not a problem. They don't care. But it took some time of socializing them as young snakes and getting them to understand that I'm not there to hurt them. Chad, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for doing these live streams. You should do them weekly. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you like them. Chad, I've thought about doing them weekly, and it might be too much. It might be too much for me, but it also might be too much for everybody else. I kind of like having a special live stream once a month. It's kind of an event for the month. But I have toyed with the idea of doing them more often, but I tell you what, producing the video, just putting out a video a week is a full-time job because I don't have a crew. I do everything myself. Kent films, obviously, but everything else is done by me. And so there's a lot. Keeping an eye on Maya here. She's going in and out of a rack right now. It's just kind of crazy. So taking the time to, one day to set up a live stream and everything, it takes a while to get it all set up. I guess if I was doing them more often, I would have the setup just ready to go, and it wouldn't be so much time. But anyway, yes, I've thought about doing more often. That's the short answer. Okay. Joe says, how much self-awareness do snakes have? I mean, that's a big question that I think we'll probably never be able to answer. But that's not the whole question. Do they see their bodies simply as a way to move their head around? Snakes need an enclosure large enough that they can fully stretch out, but do they feel the need to significantly move around? So that's a different question. And you know, we're talking about, when you say snakes, that's, you know, we have thousands of snake species. I guess not thousands that we work with in captivity, but every snake is different. My reticulated pythons move around a lot more than my ball pythons. So they need more space than a ball python would. And same with a black-headed python, moves around a lot more. Not the ball pythons don't need more space, but they just don't move around as much. So different species are different. If you have a blue beauty rat snake, you know, you need a big enclosure, even though they're very long snakes, but they're thin. They're relatively small compared to pythons, right? But you need a big cage because they're all over the place. So it just depends on what kind of snake you have, whether they need the extra room or not. Chat. Thanks for that second super chat. I get it. You could have Kent do one every couple of weeks. That would save me a lot of time if I could get Kent to do a live stream. I mean, he does like attention, you know. He likes the attention. So we'll see. Okay. Joe's next question is, do you think snakes become annoyed when you handle them hand over hand and not actually go anywhere? I try to allow my snakes to have some level of free will when handling them, but naturally they just want to bury themselves in the couch. Yeah, they do tend to want to do that. I don't think that it annoys them, because there is behavior that you'll get. You know, if we're talking about a ball python, there's behavior that you'll get when they're annoyed, right? So if they're just moving hand over hand, they'll generally do it calmly. They'll keep moving. They'll be trying to reach over to something or whatever, and they're just kind of moving, and that's okay. But if they're annoyed, they're going to tense up their body. They're first of all going to all of a sudden try to flee. So them just going at a normal pace is one thing, but then fleeing and trying to get out of the way, or like bumping or something like that, would be more of a snake that is annoyed. And I say annoyed in quotes because they usually don't, you know, it's not like they're trying to do something and when they can't do it, they get annoyed like humans do and they go, ah, you know, that's not really something that snakes do. So, but you would see different behavior from a snake if they were upset. Maybe upset is a better word. You would see it. Oh, Amy's texting me now. So clearly, hang on. That's really nice. Amy says, hey, did you put Lucille away? Because on camera, it looked like you just set her on the floor. Just want to make sure you don't have both her and Maya out at the same time. It's very nice of you to be concerned about that, Amy. Lucille is safe from being eaten. She is put away. But Maya is now coming right up onto my thing here, and she's going to start pushing stuff down. So I'm going to, hey, can I just grab you, young lady? Good climb. Good job climbing. Here's our little climber. Oh, we were going to get Koa. Let me put her back, and we'll get Koa out. Get a little Brettles python. Speaking of Brettles pythons, I don't know if Riley's still in the chat, but Riley has some really cool Brettles. Okay. Let's get this guy. Hold on. Hang on. Look at this. Here's Amy. Hi, Amy. You want to say hi to people while I get Koa?
Hi, people. How's it going? Was anybody else concerned about that? I was like, oh, Lucille's just free roaming. And then he was like, yeah, we're going to get Maya out. And then the next thing I know, he's like, Maya's under my chair. Something's going on with my snake is actually what he said first. And I was like, wait, are they both out? Katie and I were both like going back in the video. Like, it did look like he just set her right on the floor, but.
Her
Hi, guys.
tub was right under me. So I was just putting her back and I didn't say anything. I think I did it mindlessly. We're going to get both these two out.
Yay.
We got, so as you guys are going to see in next week's video, you're going to see that they have sort of a semi-bioactive tubs. They're in large breeder tubs. Each of them is in a large breeder tub for now until we get PVC cages for them. I need these glasses on. And I made it kind of bioactive. They don't have any planted plants, but they have dirt and they have bugs and a bunch of stuff. And the interesting thing is that Bella here, my axanthic coastal, is sits on the heat most of the time, and Koa likes the cold. He's on the far other end, sitting in the dirt where it's cold. Really, it's not going to just autofocus. There we go. Here's this handsome guy. You guys are going to see some cool shots of both of these snakes next week. Ellie Simone, oh my gosh. $100 super chat. That might be the first $100 super chat we've had. Thanks for that. Really nice. Oh, MX 100. That's it's not $100. Is that Mexico 100? I don't know what that is. Huh?
Also, you still have me on. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I know that.
Okay.
Here, I'm taking you off. All right. Well, it looks cool. It says $100, and that looks cool. Thanks for that super chat. I got my second ball python a few months ago. I was surprised how different her personality is compared to my first ball python. I was wondering if that's typical or if it might be an age thing. Yeah, it's definitely typical to have individual snakes act differently. You know, there is sort of a spectrum of the way different species, you know, a certain species tends to behave this way because they're the species. But then within that spectrum, there's a lot of leeway for how individuals will behave, you know. So, and then there's also the fact that especially if they're different ages, I actually talk about this in next week's video, and I'm referring to these two snakes here, which are not ball pythons, but you know, the thing is that these two are still in their first year. They're, I don't know, 6 months old at this point. And snakes act a certain way in their first year, and then they change behavior. And then, you know, sometime later, they'll change their behavior again. And so things just shift a little bit as the snake develops. So yeah, you'll definitely have different species acting differently. Okay. Back to it. Okay, Faith has a question. I'm gonna paraphrase. She's basically asking, because it's a long one. She's asking for a species recommendation for a first snake, looking for something that's smaller than 6 feet, and a good interactive species for someone in their 60s. And I think she's looking specifically for a python, you know, something that's kind of slow, pythonish. And Faith, my recommendation for you would be Antaresia would be the first thing that I would say. Children's python, spotted python. They're going to be under 6 feet, really easy to manage, small snakes that are super engaging and really good pets. That's my first recommendation. The other thing is you might look at a dwarf boa species, like a Hog Island or a Crawl Key. They're going to stay very small also, and are really cool pets, and they look awesome. So I look into both of those options. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, I think even a dwarf boa gets a little bit bigger than like a children's python. But I don't, I mean, 4 feet. Yeah. So if a Hog Island boa was 4 feet, let's say, and a children's python gets 4 feet, maybe 5, the boa is still going to be thicker, right? So it's still going to be a bigger snake. It'll be thicker than the Antaresia. Riley, you're saying a pop one carpet python, under 6 feet, huh? That's probably, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Because those are the smaller ones. They're super interactive. Yeah, it's a good idea. Erica says 4 to 6 foot for most dwarf boas. Yeah, so get a male. Oh my gosh, Riley. Riley's adult breeding pair of children's pythons were under 3 feet. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, adult breeder males were 4 to 5 feet. So I didn't know this about, is that the thing with, you know, some species, the males get bigger. Is that a thing with the children's pythons, with the Antaresia? The males are bigger. I know it is with like scrub pythons, males are bigger. And that's, you know, that has to do with male combat. So with scrub pythons, male combat is a big thing in breeding season. And the bigger the snake, the better they're going to be at combating, and the more chances they're going to get the female. Riley says, I could hold the gravid female in my hand around her eggs. That's what I'm really looking forward to when my pygmy python finally lays eggs. I'm still waiting for a male. I still need a male pygmy python. I hope I'm still on Justin Julander's list. I know he's breeding them this year. I'm on a waiting list for them, but other people are too. Males are hard to come by with pygmy pythons. Crisis Corpse, thanks for the super chat. Happy Valentine's Day from Phoenix, the blood python. Oh, happy Valentine's Day, Phoenix. You should get an STP someday. Hope you're well. Nice to see all the different species you have. Thanks. STPs. All I can think of is Stone Temple pilots. What's somebody put in the chat? What are we talking about? STPs? Short tail python. I know what it is. Short tail python. I just had to think for a minute, because I don't work with short tail pythons. I've never abbreviated that before. Yeah, short tails are cool. You know what I would like to do, even more than have one and keep one, is go and find them in the wild. That's a big dream of mine, is to get over to Borneo, and that might be happening. I got some other trips planned though. Okay, so we got that. We got that last super chat, I think. Amy's not flagging me down, so I think we're good there. B. Tessinar says, we've kept ball pythons for a year now, and we're ready to add to our collection, and we feel we're ready to get a bigger python. Do you think Brettles is a good choice? Pros and cons. Thanks. I do think Brettles is a good choice. And another thing that you'll see me say, and I'm just doing spoilers for next week's video. One thing that I say in next week's video is a Brettles python might be the best pet snake for many of you. There are not many cons to a Brettles python, as long as you're okay with the size. You know, a snake that gets, say, 6 to 8 feet. They're probably not going to get 8 feet. Riley, put in the chat how big is your if you're still here, Riley, I want to know how big your average Bredli is, and then I want to know how big your biggest one is. That's what I'm curious about. But anyway, these guys are pretty much, once they get out of their first year, they're not scared of anything. They don't really have any natural predators once they get some size on them. So they've kind of evolved to be just chill with anything. Super interactive, smart, personable. Okay, here's Riley's question or answer. Brettles are awesome. Females can get large, however. My girl is just under 8 feet. Okay, so females 8 feet-ish. I mean, they say 10 feet. You hear people go, oh yeah, there's 10 foot, but that's the outside. Same with the coastal. You know, there are 10-foot coastals, but I don't expect this girl to get 10 feet, you know. But you know, get a male Brettles, and don't feed them a ton, and you know, I mean, feed them healthy, but not a massive amount. Haley, thanks for the super chat. Happy Valentine's Day from Aria. Big 5-year-old fan. Oh, Aria. I love that I have a 5-year-old fan. That's awesome. Happy Valentine's Day, Aria. That's awesome. Let's see. Riley says males average 5 to 6 feet, females 6 to 8 feet. Okay. All right. That's about right in there. That would be true. Southern coastals. So are you saying that southern, I didn't even know that there was southern and northern coastals. You're saying that the southerns are bigger than, get bigger than, I assume the other would be northern. That's cool. Okay. Elizabeth, thanks for the super chat. I'm just popping in to say hi. I'll have to catch the rest later. It was a pleasure to meet you at Retic Fest. Hit the like, everyone. Oh, Elizabeth, pleasure to meet you as well. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate that. Thanks for that super chat. I really wish I could go to Retic Fest again this year, but I will be at a festival that I'm booked to perform at that weekend. Oh my gosh, Koa just did something. Hang on. Oh, good. I fixed it. Koa just messed up my screen. He just touched his little head to my mouse pad. I don't know what happened, but he messed up the screen for a minute. Okay, where are we at here? Let's see. All right, Riley, we're going to have to talk about coastals because southern. So, I mean, this is a McDowell Live. This is what I know as a coastal, but I don't know about southern coastals versus. We'll chat later. We'll chat later. You know what, little one? I don't think I want you on my hat because you're so tiny. Okay. So the point is, B. Tessinar, yes, Brettles would be a great choice. Okay. Connor says, will you please share your thoughts on enclosure size? I'm having a hard time reconciling 4x2x2 as the minimum size for ball pythons when the previous recommended size was 40 gallon, and some of them are kept well in racks. How do you determine what size and type of enclosure is best for your snake? That's a great question, and it confuses a lot of people. So first thing is, if you're getting a pet snake, you want to give them as much room as possible. And first of all, with the 40 gallon thing, our husbandry changes and evolves over time. So, but for a pet snake, you want to give them the best life possible and as much room as possible. So you don't want to be thinking in terms of minimums. Racks, for me, and I'll always say this, racks are for breeders. They're for people that are breeding these snakes, and it works great for some ball pythons. There are many species of snake that are kept in racks that should not be kept in racks, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, you guys. Obviously, we can have a huge argument about racks, which I don't do on the channel, as you know. But the fact is that I have some ball pythons that I know they're in racks, and I know that they need more space than that. But because I breed them, I have lots of them, and I don't have room for big cages all over. So I free roam my snakes. Not everybody can do that. But the snakes that, you know, when I see a snake that wants out, I let them out. They get to come out. They can spend the whole day out if they want. So they get a lot of roaming time aside from living in the tubs that they're in. But as a pet owner, pet keeper, you want to give them the best life possible. So I always say 4x2x2 enclosure works great for a ball python because they get 4 to 5 feet long, and that's about the length of them. You know, some will get longer than 4 feet, especially female. But that's a good size cage. And we say minimum because they can stretch out, but they can't do much else. You put them in a 6-foot cage, that gives them a ton of room. So it's all about what you want to give them. But I would encourage everyone to not think about the minimums. We always hear that, you know, when somebody says, what size enclosure for whatever species? Everybody says minimum this size. So I think it puts people in people's head, well, that's the size that I need to get. But not necessarily. If you've got room, if you have the means and you've got some room to give them more than the minimum, that's just better for the animal a lot of times. Now, I'm not talking about a baby snake that does better oftentimes in a very small contained environment. That's a baby snake thing that they will quickly grow out of, that they won't need that small contained environment for very long. So we do start them out in little tubs with little hides that they can just spend their time in there because they naturally are just scared of everything. There's predators. Everything wants to eat them when they're young. But beyond that, it's good to give them some space, you know. So so that's that. Okay. That's a really good question because it confuses people. There's a lot of sizes of things, and the fact that breeders use tubs is confusing to people when we say minimum 4x2x2, but here's my snake that's in a tub, you know. All right. Where are we at? Okay, Barbara says, this is a bit of an odd question, but here it goes. I have a beardy in a 4x2x2. Okay, so I remember this question. It's a long one. I'm going to paraphrase. She's got dubias. She's got dubias in this 4x2x2 with her beardy, and there's babies now. She's asking if she should pull those dubias out. I don't know, honestly. I've had beardies before, but it's been years, and I don't know that a dubio roach would do damage to a beardy, but tell me, you guys, put in the chat, and then she can look in the chat to see. I mean, I would say to be safe, like if we didn't know the answer, if we weren't able to get a good answer, pull them out just in case. But you might be able to. Oh, looks like Riley might be leaving. See you, Riley. Thanks for jumping in, man. It's good to see you in the chat. Appreciate your thoughts on these snakes that you are much more of an expert on than I am. Zepp says, no, dubias are harmless. Cool. All right. Thanks for that. Yeah, my thought was that those will just run around and the beardy will eat them. But not my wheelhouse. Okay. You guys, we're close to done on this. Hang on.
No, we're not. We're super not. We got 45 minutes left. Beating the record tonight.
On the time. No, what I meant, I mean, we can go however long we go, but my list of questions, we're on the last page. But that doesn't, as you all know, we don't shut down the live stream once the questions are answered on the Patreon questions.
We also decided we might try breaking the record for most snake co-hosts in a live stream, and if we're doing that, we gotta catch up.
Rid of these two, and
a couple weeks ago we did like so many.
Do you have any idea what the old record is? Like, who's keeping track of that?
I can tell you, yes, I write down every co-host that you have every single week. I will find out. I just have to find my other notebook. This is not the notebook I usually use.
Oh my gosh, Amy, you're the
find
best.
It. I'll let you know the next time I'm on screen.
Okay. All right. Bye, Amy.
Bye.
Bye, Keith. Okay. Keith has given us some dubia info. Dubia roaches are omnivorous and will eat a wide variety of foods, including fruits like apples, bananas, vegetables, and carrots, sweet potatoes, squash, grains, oats, cereal and whole grain. Oh, cool. So maybe feed those dubias in the cage that are just in that beardy cage. But it sounds like they're not going to try to chew on a beardy. That's cool. Ghost01, thanks for the super chat. Do those bredli live together? No, these are not both bredli for one thing, but they each have their own enclosure. One is a coastal carpet python. The other one is a Brettles python. They hang out together when they're out, though. I oftentimes bring them out at the same time. So this is kind of a common occurrence when they're out and about. I mean, out and about means in my hand or on this. I have a snake tree that they can curl up on. So, and actually, Ghost01, you haven't missed much. I do put them, like I've had them in a lot of shorts and I've introduced them on the channel, but I haven't talked about them extensively until Monday's video that's coming out. I'm finishing editing it right now and you guys will see it on Monday, and it's all about these two. So on that, let me put them back in their little bioactive, not little, they're in breeder tubs. I would like them to be in PVC cages, and they will. We'll move them as soon as I have 2 PVC cages available, which I should fairly soon. They'll be upgraded, but right now they're in bioactive breeder tubs without live plants. But it works well. You'll see them because I show them in next week's video. All right, give me just a minute. Put these 2 back. They've tangled themselves in one another, which snakes have a tendency to do. Okay. We've got them separated. I'm just giving you a play-by-play since I know you can't see this. There they go into their little cages. All right. Tom, thanks for the super chat. Found your channel about a year ago. I now have 3 ball pythons. Your videos are awesome and very helpful. Glad to catch a live stream. Is Damara the next co-host by chance? Oh, that's so nice. I'm so glad you found my channel, and congrats on those 3 ball pythons. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. And yes, Damara can be the next co-host. It's a great idea. Speaking of large snakes that live in tubs but get to free roam a lot, Damara, you know, when she's nesting, getting ready to lay eggs, she doesn't want to be anywhere but a hide. So this tub works great for her. And then when she's not breeding, she is all over this room. She usually finds a place to settle eventually, but she gets lots of out of her little den time. And I love this snake. She also gets a lot of time in my lap because she's one of the only ones that will willingly sit in my lap. Like if I'm not going hand over hand or anything, if I just hands off, put her in my lap, she'll just sit there with me, which is pretty great. There's not a ton of ball pythons will do that. She'll eventually leave, but she's at least for a while hanging out with me, which is really cool. Let's see, did I? No, we got, okay. All right. I love this snake so much. Just as far as personality, so excited. You know, I've had her for, I guess, 4 years now. I got her as an adult. She's about 10 years old now. And this is the first clutch that I've had from her. I probably won't breed her again because I don't, you know, it's not like I'm trying to breed every snake all the time. But I wanted her and the inspector to have babies. She gave me so many eggs, and I can't wait for them to pip in a few days. I will keep you guys I'll keep Patreon posted, and then I probably will do a video. I don't do a video every time I have a clutch hatching, but I probably will for this clutch just because I'm so excited about it. And not because it's genetically crazy. It's not like I'm having some crazy genetic, you know, there's a number of basically incomplete dominant genes, but it's nothing crazy or expensive, but it's just such an anticipated clutch because I just love this snake so much. And I'm excited. So you guys will see that eventually. Patreon will see it right away. And then I'll probably have a video out on YouTube. Okay. Here we go. Back to these questions. We only have a few left. Leah has a few questions. Let's see. She's got a new pastel inchy sugar ball python. I've only had her for a short amount of time, but I've noticed that her head bobs up and down. It's very rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. None of my other ball pythons do that, so I was wondering if it could possibly be a wobble. It doesn't seem to affect her at all, so mostly just curious. You know, I would say no on the wobble because wobble is not rhythmic. Rhythmic would seem like breathing. And it's a little bit concerning because if she's having labored breathing, you know, like if she's breathing and bobbing up and down, this isn't something that I've noticed in snakes before, but it's just, I'm just thinking about it. It makes me wonder if there's labored breathing for some reason, you know, and you might open her mouth, or, you know, if I have a snake that's like, if I had a snake that was doing labored breathing or something like that, I would just take, hang on. I know that was weird that I just licked my thumb, but I needed it to be a little sticky. And then I just pull the side of the mouth like that and look to see if there's excess saliva, you know. There's going to be a little bit, but if you see like strings of it, then that could be an issue. Yeah, I'd keep an eye on that because that could be a breathing thing, and their head should not be bobbing up and down with breathing if it is. So that's that. I don't want to scare you though, but it's just something to keep an eye on. Leah says, can we see Han? Yes, we can. I was saying that I was going to take him out anyway. And then, did you listen to Epic yet? I will bother you until you do. You know what, Leah? I have. I've listened to a lot of it and I love it. Here's what happened. You mentioned it on the last live stream. Amy immediately was like, yes, I'm into it. I'm going to watch the whole thing. And she became obsessed with it. And then she pestered me about watching it. And Amy left. Otherwise, I'd put her on the screen, but she's not there right now. Oh, yeah, she is. So Amy, she just sat back down. So Amy pestered me about watching it. And now I think I have 4 or 5 videos left to watch. Amy?
So good. I love it. I love it so much.
I also love.
Thank you for the recommendation.
Yes, for sure. Thanks for the recommendation. I've also watched videos of the creator and like how he put this all together on TikTok and just did like auditions for it via TikTok and got all this amazing talent and produced the songs and stuff. I like all that behind the scenes stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's way cool.
So Epic the Musical, you guys, just look it up on YouTube. There's several that you can get with animatics. I'm watching, I think, the main one where they did animatics with it, but it's fantastic. It's really great. Okay. Bye, you guys. Oh, here goes Damara back up on the hat, which I believe she did last live stream. The hat survived last time, so we'll see if it does this time. Oh, we were getting Han. We pulled Han's tub out earlier. Here's this little boy. I'm not going to have him out long. He's sitting on his warm side, trying to do his thing. Oop. He had a meal the other day, so he's still working on it. What a cutie. I love how dark he is. I love how he's come out of his shell and now acts like a regular snake instead of the most scared snake in the world. Love this guy. He's super cool. Love his belly. I saw that, you know, I said when I first got him, I said in a couple videos, maybe live streams, I can't remember, that I didn't know that leopard the belly was like this for a leopard ball python. Because I've had leopard, I have a leopard and I've seen leopard before, but always mixed with other genes. But Justin just came out with a video over on Canova identifying leopard, which I thought was really cool because leopard is such a simple gene. He wasn't talking about anything crazy. It was just, how do you identify leopard? And one of the things that he showed was the belly, which was not as crazy on his snake as it is on Han here. Well, Han Solo. It's like the pattern just continues on the belly, It's pretty crazy. All right, I'm going to put him back so that he can happily be under his little piece of cardboard. He's all about the cardboard in there. All right. He's a beautiful snake for just being, he's got hets, but for just being a visual leopard, he's absolutely beautiful. Hi, Amy. I see you waving at me.
Hi there.
Hi,
Our
welcome
record
back.
for most snakes in a live stream was last month, and it's 16 snakes.
Come on. Why did I bring 16 snakes out?
We were having the best time.
That doesn't.
And last month's live stream was almost a record.
That's
1
crazy.
minute short of the record.
Because I feel like I often get to talking and forget that I don't even have a snake in my hands. How did I get 16 out last time? That's nuts.
Yeah, I think you just said, "Are there any other snakes you want to see?" And literally all of your snakes got listed.
Here's
And we
this
just started pulling them out.
All right.
I even wrote down Han, brief appearance.
It's crazy. All right. So I'm glad you're keeping track of all this, Amy. Here's the thing.
We need 8 more snakes to beat that record.
I don't know what games or goals you guys have. I'm just going to do the live stream. I'm just going to run it like a normal live stream. And pretty much it's run based on what you guys want, because as soon as I'm done with this, then we're done with this, but we can do more stuff. If there's super chats running, we keep the thing going. If we have interesting conversation or something like that, we keep the thing going. It's not all about super chats. But and then if people are requesting snakes, I'll show snakes. So you guys can worry about this game or these goals. I'm just going to try and do a nice live stream for everybody.
Records. We're breaking records today.
I love it.
Also, while you have me up on the screen, I took a screenshot of this because I thought it was amazing. A while back, Keith Harper asked, if the dominant sentient species on the planet was some form of snake rather than humans, what would fitness monitors count instead of steps?
Oh, they would count. That's a great question from Keith. See, this is why I think Keith is a special agent. He's like super smart and creative. I think he's taken out bad guys in other countries. That's why I think he's so busy. But to answer the question, I know the answer to this for sure. It would be belly pulses, because snakes move with
belly
these
pulses.
Belly muscle pulses. It'd be counting those in the thousands, though. It's not like one step. It would be like 100 belly pulses, another 100 belly pulses. That's what it would count.
What would the monitor look like? Because all of the monitors I've ever had either clip on or they wrap around.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it just wraps around, the snake is eventually going to slither all the way through it.
Yeah, no, I know the answer to this one too. You're asking me stuff that I already know. This monitor for the sentient snake species, and they invented it, is not something I would do to a snake. The sentient snake species invented it, but it clips onto their lower side, not onto their belly, because they could rub it off, onto their lower side, and it hooks in with little hooks, like it's embedded in their scales, which doesn't seem comfortable, but that's how they're doing it. So good question. Good question.
Thanks, Keith. That one really tickled my like. Oh, I want to
Fancy.
know the answer to this. I'm glad Bob knew the answer.
Yeah, no, I totally knew the answer. All right, bye, Amy. Bye, Katie.
Bye.
All right. I feel like, oh, I did miss a super chat. Hang on. Did I miss 2 super chats? Let's see. I don't think so. No. Okay. Let's go back to this one. You guys are so nice that you put up with the wasted time that I spend trying to find stuff and losing stuff on this page. Stephanie, thanks for the super chat. My boyfriend DMs D&D. How many people play and when? I can't give you that answer, but Keith, wait, Keith may have already given you the answer because he's in the chat right now. You know, my guess is that since it stopped a little bit ago. I just noticed that it stopped recently. It stopped, I think, a couple months ago. So they may have lost a few people. And it's once a week. And I think it was kind of fluid. They were sort of, I don't know that they had I think for a while they might have had a specific time. But anyway, it's whatever you want it to be. It's not a huge amount of people. Like, I don't think. Keith can answer this better. Okay. We'll see if Keith answers. I think he's in the chat right now. Cryptic Java, thanks for the super chat. I've got over my fear, so thank you. My blue-eyed leucistic ball python is now a little over a year and lovely. My question is, what book are you currently reading? Oh, that was a question on that's on here right now. I'm not currently reading. Well, I am currently reading a few books, but currently reading. We'll talk about this because that was another question on Patreon. Currently reading means I have a couple books that I've gotten into and then I put down because I got busy and I haven't picked them up in a long time. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. So hang on. In fact, let's see. Yeah. Yeah. So I will get to your question, Cryptic Java, when I answer almost the same question that's on my list. Okay. Keith says regarding D&D sessions, sessions were organized by on a 1-by-1 basis. The end of each session, we'd compare diaries and see when we could all make it to the next one. Okay, that's cool. So it was very loosely, loose, easy situation. All right, I'm gonna put Damara back because she's just trying to scrunch my hat. That's all she's doing. Okay, mama. All right. What do you think? Oh, do you want out? Here, I'll tell you what. This is what we do with snakes like Damara, if I bring her out, and many of the other ball pythons, is I put them back in their tub. Once I've woken them up, if I wake them up and pull them out of their hide, which doesn't usually happen unless it's for a live stream or for a video, I need that snake for a video or whatever. When I put them back, I leave their tub open because if they go in and turn around and want to come right back out, then I let them roam. So we'll just see if she wants to go in her hide or if she wants to come back out. Because I'm the one who so rudely have this thermos with tea in it. I was the one who so rudely woke her up and pulled her out of the hide. So I should give her the option once she's awake. If she woke up and decided that she wants to roam around, she should get the chance to. Katie wants me to show Kata. Thanks for the super chat, Katie. I will show Kata. This mama is right here. Hi, mama. What are you doing back here? What's going on? You in shed? You in shed? Okay. Starting a shed. Here's this girl. I love this young lady. She's very sweet. and not going to stay out long because she's just starting to shed. And she doesn't like hanging out with me anyway. She likes to free roam, but not when she's got a pink belly. Just barely getting one. But look at this. I'm not, she's back up to being a pretty big girl, pretty thick snake. I'm not feeding her to breed her again this season. I'm not planning on breeding her this season. She gets a medium rat every 2 weeks. And just on that schedule, she's back up to being a big, thick girl. I could probably cut it back to every 3 weeks, actually, for her. Oh, here, before I put her back. There we go. Everybody say goodbye to Kata. What a beautiful young mama. Here you go, mama. Go back in there. See you later. Go find that hide. Okay. White snakes are pretty cool, you guys. Oh, are you coming back out? You can if you want, man. That a little bit. Give Damara some room. They're right. Damara's right below Kata. So now they both have open tubs. And they can come out if they want to. I suspect Kata doesn't want to, but she could surprise me. And Damara doesn't want to. She's back in her hide. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're rolling with this. Oh, okay. So here's about the books. Crisis Corp says, do you enjoy reading books? If so, what is your favorite book series? So I do. I don't read books enough. And here's the thing. When I read a book, I guess I do read books, but I read books like this, Reptiles and Amphibians of the Amazon. I also read novels occasionally. My favorite series would be the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett, but I'm only a few books into that one, and I think there's 7,000 books in the Discworld series. But I do stuff like this. The Fisherman is a novel, super creepy, scary, super creepy. I'm, I think, halfway through it, but I haven't picked it up in over a year. So I think I need to start over. I need to just start over and get through it. It's a good book. I just end up doing other stuff. My sister bought me this book about a year ago. I was like, no problem. I'll read this right away because look, it's just small. And she goes, it's so good. You got to read it. Haven't read one word of it yet. Need to. I saw that question and I went into my meager bookcase because I was like, what do I have in here? I get so many books that I need to read. So that question might have launched me into reading one of those books. So thanks for that. Betsy Youngbuck says, oh, you know what? I'm gonna get to that one in a minute because we got a whole demonstration to do with that one. Let me jump to my phone with this other. There's one more question. Oh, you know what? It's actually pulled up on my computer. It's LR says, how do you avoid getting excited and buying too many snakes? I almost bought a snake that wasn't quite right for me recently because it was a great deal, but then I realized that it's not a good reason to make a 30-year commitment. Yeah. Have you had this experience? Yeah, I mean, hang on. There we go. Now we're back. I haven't really had that. I mean, I have the experience of seeing snakes all the time that I'm like, oh man, I want that snake. Argentine boa. I see a baby Argentine boa. I'm like, oh, I should buy that. I should buy that snake. But I quickly, like, I know what I want to raise up. and what I have available space for and stuff like that. And I try to be really careful about it, and because I'm really conscious about it, I don't impulse buy snakes, because I'm conscious about the fact that that's a thing that people do and they'll regret it later. And so I try to just be really conscious. Crisis Corpse, thanks for the super chat. Read more books. Yeah, I know. Everybody should read more books. That's an important thing to do in life, and I definitely should. Ghost 01, thanks for the super chat. The name of the wind the name of the wind Patrick Rothfuss. Hang on. Hi, Amy.
Hi. So first off, you missed Katie's second super chat.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to get it in a second. Ghost 01.
And while you're finding it, The Name of the Wind is a book by Patrick Rothfuss. It is also Brady's favorite book.
Oh,
I'm sure you probably already have a copy. If you have talked to Brady about books ever, I'm sure he bought you a copy.
Hold on. We talked about this last week. Brady was gonna buy me a copy of his favorite book. That's gonna be it. I will read it. Because we talked about this. I was like, I always intend to read books, and then I end up not. But I said that last week to both of you guys. I said, look, if Brady buys me this book, I will read it. I just didn't remember what it was. Okay. Ghost 01, thanks for that super chat. It looks like I'm going to be reading that book. I'm not buying it for myself, though. Brady has to buy it for me. Okay.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm looking for Katie's super chat. Oh, there we go. Katie, you're the best. Thanks for your super chats. And Max, Boo Boo wants to see his brother. Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on. Let's compare them on screen.
Okay. Oh, you can reach that far. Stinky dog laying on you.
There's brothers right there. Different lighting. Really tough to compare snakes. Amy, you got to back up a little bit. There we go. Yeah. So basically, same genetics in both of these snakes, except Boo Boo has pastel and Max does not.
Can you uncoil yourself?
I would say Max probably has more spots.
Yes. But I think Boo Boo has the least amount of freckles in this whole clutch.
Really?
Most of the people in this clutch show lots of pictures of this clutch.
Yeah.
And I would say almost every single one of them has more freckles than Boo Boo does.
I mean, it was a pretty beautiful clutch. Like every snake in that clutch was a banger. They were really pretty. I mean, this is the inspector's genetics. You know, it was that made them look like this, because these are all Lucille was the mom. I'm just letting you guys know this, but I'm letting the folks know Lucille was the mom, and Lucille is just a pied. So it made every snake het for pied, but the looks in these snakes all came from the inspector. So that's why I'm excited about the inspector and Damara's clutch, because they're going to have a lot of the inspector's genes. Some are going to have pinstripe from the mama. Hopefully they have the personality of the mama. Not that the inspector has a bad personality. The inspector has a fun personality, but I don't think his babies have they're not as sassy as he is, you know.
Boo Boo is a very sweet boy. He's probably the most social of all of my ball pythons. Well, he's not even technically mine. He's Katie's.
He's Katie's.
He's probably the most social, but he is also the biggest troublemaker. So we have not found any actual sliding glass door locks that will work for the doors that we have. I've now ordered 2 different kinds, and they just won't fit on the doors.
Figured out how to push them open and get out.
Yeah.
He's repeating that. I mean, that's the thing. He did it accidentally once, but then he repeated the behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
He knows what that lock is. He knows how to push it to get out. Yeah. That's crazy.
He can get the pin lock out, and then he's figured out how to slide the glass doors open. And there are a lot of people talking in the chat right now about their snakes having gotten out and being lost. I haven't been able to watch this super closely, but if they're a ball python, they are probably somewhere pretty close to their enclosure, just so you know. Boo Boo was on top of his. Wedged, because the shelf that they're on has a lip. So the top of his enclosure is behind, like above the lip. And so he squeezed under the lip on top of his enclosure, and it took 4 people to get him out.
I remember that fiasco.
So they're probably your missing ball python is probably somewhere closer than you think it is. We looked for him for 2 hours before we were like, do you think he squoze up on top? And he sure did.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always closer than you think. You tear up the whole house and then realize that they're right there. I've got a video that I put out a couple years ago about how to find a ball python. Look at that video if you need some tips. So, all right, thanks, you guys. There we go. Okay. Oh, where's that comment at? Shoot. Okay, wait. There we go. All right, so we're caught up on super chats. I'm going to put Maximilian back. He's the coolest young man. We like him a lot. Here, buddy. I really like hatching out a snake and then raising them up. You know, he's not a full adult yet, but he's definitely breeding age. But I like raising them up and seeing how they are as basically as adults, you know. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. Hang on. Did I answer? Let me make sure that I got everything from this. Okay, we answered that question about buying too many snakes. We answered the Scotch question. All right, we're on the last question, which is from Betsy Youngbuck. Betsy asks, Bob, I love your beard. Thanks. I appreciate that. Do you ever wear beard beads? Yes, I do. I don't just wear them randomly, but I do wear them at Renaissance festivals that I'm performing at, and I'll show you in just a second because I have at least 2. Yeah, it looks like 2 super chats. Heidi, thanks for the super chat. If you have a question to go along with that, let me know. Just type it in the chat, and Amy will see it if I don't. Joshua, thanks for the super chat. Do you think a ball times spotted python hybrid is possible? I don't know. I'm not big into the hybrid stuff. I mean, I was going to say they're probably genetically close enough, but I don't know. Yeah, put in the chat if you guys have seen that, an Antaresia with a ball python. I have not seen it before. Hard to say if it's possible. Okay, so I wear beard beads when I perform at Renaissance festivals. A lot of you know that I have a stage show that I do at Renaissance festivals in pretty much mostly in the summer now. I do way less festivals now because of this channel, which is cool. But I have a couple of different things. One thing I have, check this out. I think you're going to like this. I got this, by the way, a Renaissance festival is where I met Amy, and we became friends when I was performing at the Utah Renaissance Festival in her hometown. She's a belly dancer. A lot of you guys know this, but many of you don't. Amy's a belly dancer at that Renaissance Festival, and I was brought in to do my show, and we met several years before Green Room Pythons was even a thing. So this is I guess you would call this a beard bead, but this I wear more than anything else now. And by the way, I got this at that Renaissance Festival. There was a vendor who makes them. So I wear this more than anything else because, I didn't put it in very well, but that's right. Because it's just easy to go in. You know, I can just throw it on my beard like that. I'll show it to you. Hang on. It's just a, we're going to make this work. Hang on. There it is. Just a cool snake beard thing. Beard beads are these little things. And they're tricky to get in, but I'm going to do it because I haven't done it in a while. And I'm going to start a season of performing. Oh, that's the last of my floss. Here's floss. So here's how you do it. For those of you with beards and you want to try beard beads, here's how it's done. Very quickly and probably not done well because I just want to get through this. But the point is that this is good practice for me because I'm going to be doing this season. So how do you get a little bead on a tuft of beard hair? You take your floss. And you just wrap. You guys don't mind waiting, right? Like, this is, especially those of you that don't have beards and don't care about this bit of content. You don't mind waiting a few minutes while I do this, right? I appreciate your patience. We're only going to do one, not two. Normally I would do two. Oh, did I not make this long enough? I did it the wrong way. Dang it. This tells you how long it's been since I've done one like this. Amy says 7 minutes and we'll break the record. Okay, so those of you that are keeping track for a record of some sort, looks like we're probably going to break the record. Put in the chat what snake you would like to see that we haven't shown yet. So you got to start at the top with this, not the bottom. I'm only doing one more attempt, so let's hope it works. So I don't want to spend a ton of time with this. So I just have floss in my little kit that I use just for beard beads. And then you could use a thread or a piece of string, whatever. Floss is easier for me. Then you run the bead up the floss and then right onto there. Pull your floss out. You got a beard bead in. Do it on both sides. Nope, there, right there, bam. Looks perfect. So I spend a lot of my summer in a kilt and beard beads and guy liner. I look awesome, you guys. You wouldn't even believe it. I'm just kidding, but I do wear crazy stuff at these festivals. I'm seeing Handsome Dan. Okay. Seeing a lot of Handsome Dan. Okay. All right. Let's see what his mood is, because he's always looking for food at night. But let's see. We got the cage lights off at this point. He's in his sky hide currently. You know, he's never bit me, but he's kind of crazy food mode. His reaction to me just going in there, he got real excited. Hey, buddy. Oh, pal, you're okay. Did you get excited for a minute? Here, let's just let you relax a bit. Here's Handsome Dan. He got a meal a few days ago. And he's happy about that. But he hasn't really been out of his, he tends to digest in his sky hide, which is not the warm side, but his cage pretty much is warm enough to, hey buddy, see, that's just me. I just pulled you out. I'm sorry. Was that confusing? I'm going to get on my hat. Anyway, even his cold side is warm enough for him to digest. But he likes his sky hide. So he has not been out of it since he ate a few days ago. You don't want to go on there? Okay. Okay, squeezer. There you go. Let me just put his hide back really fast so that I don't have to mess with it later. So there we go. He's a good guy. He's super handsome, right? Keith, you're wearing the Handsome Dan t-shirt right now? Nice. Handsome Dan t-shirt is available in the store. You know, below my videos, there's a store. We got a Handsome Dan shirt in there. Joshua is asking if Handsome Dan is a dwarf locality. He is, in that he's central. So not really a dwarf. You know, a dwarf locality would be like a Hog Island or something like that. But he is a Central American albino. So he's got a good portion of central blood. He'll stay pretty small. Although he's grown a lot. I've been feeding him. I got him on medium rats every 3 weeks for a little while. And now I'm paring it back to small rats every 2 weeks. I'm just kind of experimenting with his food, and not always rats. Sometimes he gets quail, stuff like that. So, but definitely does not need to eat as often as a python does. And I'm just kind of experimenting with prey sizes with this guy. Okay. We're done with, yeah, we're done. Okay. We're done with the Patreon questions. So now we're just at the end of this. Amy has written me a note. So clearly she's been trying to, it says, check your phone. Hold on. I'm just going to go by the note. Where is my phone? That's my question. What did I do with my phone? Oh, I found it. Don't worry, you guys. Call off the search party. Call off the search party. Oh, okay. Heidi's question. I got a juvenile ball python, and like an idiot, I handled her within the first week, and now she won't eat. Heidi, you didn't do anything wrong. I mean, ideally, you don't want to handle the snake in the first week. You want to just give them a week to relax. And it's okay. They don't need to eat very often. So just give the snake. I don't know how long ago this was that you got the snake, how many weeks they've refused food, but I would say at this point, don't handle the snake until they do eat. And just make sure they're in a good, secure cage. In other words, secure meaning they feel secure. So plenty of hides, plenty of clutter, so they feel real secure. Don't handle the snake at all until it eats, and then just offer each week. Not a big deal. They can go a long time without eating. I just saw what you're saying there. Heidi, been over a month since you've had her. Okay, that's all right. Again, they can go a long time. So I have a bunch of videos on the channel about how to help your snake eat. What I would say, this is always a thing for a new snake keeper or a new snake. you want to make sure that you're feeding the snake exactly what the breeder was feeding, or the previous owner, the pet store, whatever it is. You want to feed them exactly what they were eating before. And because they want, like if the breeder was feeding them mice, and you're, live mice, and you're trying to feed a frozen thawed rat, the snake isn't going to recognize that as food. So just to get them eating, you've got to get a live mouse. Now, if you don't, speaking of live mice, if you don't know what the breeder was feeding before, or the previous owner was feeding before, a live mouse is the most likely thing that a ball python will strike at. So I would recommend trying that just to get them eating, just to get them going. Anthony, yes, I do have a promo code for Lane Labs. It is, I don't know what it is. I think it's, Amy, can you get that information? Hi.
What information? I was typing a fun announcement. We broke the record three and a half minutes ago.
We broke the length record.
The length record we broke. Yeah.
Okay.
What information do you need?
What we're looking for is the promo code for Lane Labs. It's something 2024, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I will.
Thank you. All right. So Amy will tell us in a moment. Where's the merch? When I click on the page, it's the Patreon page. So don't click on the Patreon page. What you want is, if you look under, I mean, it might be under this video, depending on if you're watching this on a computer. It's not on every tablet, but right below the video, it shows t-shirts. It shows a spread shop merch, or spread shop merch page. And if you click on that, it'll take you to the thing. The other thing you can do is just Google Green Room Pythons spread shop, and it will pull up the store. And there's t-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of different stuff like that. Okay. Joshua, yes, all the snakes love the hats. The reason that I wear hats during a live stream is just for this reason. And I have specifically purchased hats with sturdy brims because of them. Like, I have fedoras and stuff like that I like to wear, but I usually wear a sturdy brimmed hat so that my snakes can come up onto the hat and feel like they're up high, for one thing, which pythons and boas like. They like to be up high to survey things, and he doesn't feel like he's being held right now. Like, I'm not holding him at all. He's gone where he wants to go, and he was able to do that. And they get to curl around something, so they feel the hat on all sides. Like, it's a perfect thing for them to hang out on. I think it's really comfortable for them. Okay. Ghost01, thanks for the super chat. I use my GRP mug to get rodents to temp. Awesome. That's great. That's a good designation, that that the snake mug, the Green Room Pythons mug, is for rodents and not coffee, because you definitely don't want to mix those up. Yes, Keith is right. I'm sure you're talking to somebody about this. The codes change every now and then because of the sites that sites will grab the code. And so, especially Lane Labs, they get on those sites all the time. So we've had to change. It's always like somebody just emails me and says, "Hey, your code's not working." So I email them, and they either change it or they just re-up it. So we've had that 2024 code for a while now. Let's see. Caitlin, we had Tiger Lily out earlier. Crisis Corpse. I think Dan has inspired a number of people to get a boa. I think there's a good group of people that have boas just because of Handsome Dan. He's kind of a fan favorite. I like him a lot. Keith, I love this. Keith has a mug with a picture of Ambassador Noodle on it with the text, "Noodle's mouse mug, not for humans." I love it. That's very specific that you're not going to mix them up. All right, so we have gone 3 hours and 10 minutes. That's a time record. Amy, what were the other records? The snake showing record, which we're probably not going to break. What were the other ones?
I don't know why we couldn't break it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we only technically need to see 3 more of your snakes to meet that record, but we also saw Dodger and Boo Boo tonight. So
okay. All right. So three. Okay, we could potentially break that then. Jake, hang on. Let me just answer Jake. Jake, it is just for cages. That the black box code is just for cages. They have their pricing structure is their margins are really slim anyway. It costs a lot of money to make those cages, and so they don't make a lot on each cage, and so the discount code is only for cages, and the accessories it doesn't work on. So that's why it's a 5% discount for black box, which is not, we're used to seeing like 10% discount, 15% discount. They have their prices pretty low anyway. So I think 5% is good for them. What else were you going to say, Amy?
I was going to say, you've had a lot of requests for Banjo, but I know you said he ate yesterday, so we're not bringing him out. I just want everybody who didn't hear that earlier to also hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, you've also had many asks for Stella and Echo, as well as Lydia Dietz and Dolly.
Okay. Stella and Echo. Stella, Stella and Echo both are, I'm going to say, unavailable. Echo just ate last night. She's got a big meal that she's working on digesting. Stella is pretty food crazy right now. She ate a couple. No, vice versa. It doesn't matter. But Stella just ate last night. Echo ate a couple days ago. They're both food crazy. Sorry, I know you guys like having them out, but they are eaters. So what were the others? What were the ball requests?
Lydia Dietz, Dolly, and Anya is coming up a couple of times in the chat room.
Okay.
Just in case anybody wanted to know who else is available. Freya, Bear, Ron, Kodiak, Sundance Kid, Cap, Evie, Anya, Dolly, Willow. Those are the ones we haven't seen yet.
Some of
I don't
those
know if they're all available, but
some of those are not available. But here's Dolly. Oh, Dolly's in shed too. I'm finding several snakes in shed that I didn't know. They're just starting. So here's Dolly, the most beautiful calico, with some other genes, but I just love her calico. It's pretty great. Not going to keep her out though, because she is starting to shed. She doesn't want to be out. But I want you to see how pretty she is. Look at that. I love it.
Can Freya come out?
What's that?
Can Freya come out? It's always fun to see Dolly and Freya kind of close together.
Yeah, I know. Freya, Freya could. Freya can. All right. Have a good shed there, babes. Oh, Freya's in deep shed. She can't come out. I forgot. She's a zombie right now. Who else did you say you? Oh, Anya, right?
Lydia Dietz and Anya. And then you have a vote for Kodiak as well as a vote for any pies or bananas. We have seen a pied and a banana already, but we have not seen Kodiak.
Oh, here's a big mama.
Aww.
Hang on, I'm trying to manage this guy real quick. Okay. Here's this big mama. She's going to lay some eggs, I think, this year. She's working on eggs. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of him. He's too interested. Hang on.
Oh, Amy Brunner, I'm so sorry about your puppy. He's taking the hat with him. Amazing. Well done, Handsome Dan.
So Handsome Dan is really hard to tell if he's in shed. And I just noticed that he's in shed also. So many snakes are in shed. All right, you sit on my chair. You let go of my wrist, please. Can you let go, crazy? Thank you. All right.
I love shenanigans.
There's
nothing better than snake room shenanigans.
I know, right? So Handsome Dan, the thing about him is he is just going to hang on to every single thing that he touches. And okay. Got you, pal. All right. He just wants to hang out with his tail, with his neck, whatever. If he's being removed from something, he's going to grip it as hard as he can. Okay. As opposed to this mama who's been free roaming almost every day lately, even though she's working on some eggs. And so I'm going to put her back because this was one of the rare times that she's just in her hide and not trying to come out. So I'd like her to just relax on her nest for a bit. She's been just about every morning. She's wanting to come out. And she does a couple laps around the room. And then she finds a hide. I have black box hides scattered around the room. And she finds one and curls up in it and sleeps for a couple hours. And then I put her back in her cage. That's been the program the last week or so with her. Christopher, thanks for the super chat. Okay, Amy, I'm dropping you out. I always do that on her by. Christopher, sorry if this gets asked a lot. Any stories from your cameo on Parks and Rec? My wife and I saw that episode recently. Oh, cool. No, it doesn't get asked a lot. I think I've talked about that day before. I've mentioned that, and that's okay because there's always different people on these live streams. It doesn't matter if I tell a story more than once. Yeah, that was one of the, I've done a number of TV shows where I've had a guest star role or a co-star role or something, and it's usually shows that I don't watch. It's a lot of kids shows, a lot of Disney, Nickelodeon shows, stuff like that. Parks and Rec was a show that I was so excited to book because I was a fan of the show. I was like, oh, this is a show that I actually watch, and now I get to be on it. I know the cast and everything. I'm so excited to meet everybody and hang out for the day. Usually, even when you just have a small role, like one scene like I do, or like I did, you're there for at least a full day, if not multiple days. And so I was really excited. And I got to set, and they took me to my trailer. I got into wardrobe. They came and got me in about 20 minutes. Like usually you have time to hang out, you go out, have coffee, run into people, go look at the set, stuff like that. Within 20 minutes of me getting there, they were ready for me. And I walked onto set and realized that they were only shooting my scene that day. So my scene was with Rashida Jones. So she was there, but none of the other cast was there. Nobody else was shooting. It was just one small crew for this one scene. That was it for the day. We did a few takes. It probably took us an hour total to shoot. And then they were like, okay, thanks. See ya. It's the shortest time that I've ever spent on a set anywhere. And it was the one that I probably wanted to be at for a long time the most. So that was kind of a bummer, but it was fun. Rashida Jones was very sweet, and we had a great time. So that is my story from Parks and Rec. I wish I had more stories to tell from it. I wish I was there for longer so that I had more stories to tell. I did take the time before I walked off the set to go back to my trailer. I did take the time to walk around the set, and like nobody was in those rooms or anything, you know, but like I sat in Leslie's chair. Oops. I sat in Leslie's chair and at Ron's desk and stuff like that real quick, you know, just made a loop around the set. That was fun. Taylor, oh my God, I forgot he was the balloon guy. Yeah. You Hannah Montana fans. That was the balloon guy. I spent an entire week on Hannah Montana. That was fun too. That was a fun, you know, not a show that I watched, not a show that I was a fan of, but a delightful cast and crew. And Fearsome Hero, I found your short saying when you'd be live. Well, if you just jumped in, Fearsome Hero, you're at the tail end of this. Jenna, thanks for the super chat. You know, I don't post my festival schedule. It's a thing, you know, if these festivals were my main thing, I probably would, but they kind of have become, you know, I've been a touring comic for 20 something years. And, I mean, I haven't toured that whole time, but that's the time that I've been doing that. And when I used to do comedy clubs, I always posted on my social media, I'm going to be at this club, I'm performing here, come see me, whatever. But the thing with festivals is they do their own promotion, and most people don't come to a festival just to see me. They're coming to the festival to do the festival, and I'm there too. And I definitely have fans that are fans of my show that know I'm going to be there, and they make sure to come to my show when they're at the festival, but they would have been there anyway. So I don't ever, I mean, I do tell you guys, like I'll say it, especially on Patreon, I let people know I'm going to be at the Washington Ren Fair. So here it is. Here's my schedule. I'm going to be at the Oregon Renaissance Festival this year. I'm going to be at the Washington State Renaissance Festival this year. Those are both in the summertime. I don't know the exact dates, but they're both like 5 weekends. And I might be doing one in Northern California. And those are, I think, the only ones. And there's another Celtic festival in Oregon. So I'm doing like 10 or 11 weeks of festivals in the Northwest in the summertime, and maybe I think 2 weekends in Northern California, possibly, but I haven't even booked that one yet, so I don't know. But that's pretty great considering, you know, I've been wanting to pare back the festival schedule because it's a lot to do, especially in the blistering sun. But pre-COVID and pre-Green Room Pythons, I was doing a festival half the weekends out of the year. There's a lot of performers that do it full time, and it's their whole thing, and they try to do every weekend. But even half the weekends out of the year, 25 weekends or so, I was, you know, spending at a festival, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot to get to these things and be on all day and stuff. So it's cool that I've been able to pare it down and make Green Room Pythons my main thing that I do. And then the festivals, I've chosen to keep the ones that I love doing, the festival promoters that I love working for. Those are the gigs that I take now. And it's really cool that this channel and you guys, the people who support the channel, even just by watching the vids, have made that possible, that I've been able to pare that part of my career back a little bit so that I can amplify the green room python stuff. So I appreciate that. You guys, I am starting to get a scratchy voice. We are 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 26 seconds into this. I think this is probably a good time to end it. We have made a record. Wait, hang on, Amy's. What's going on?
One more snake.
Oh, one more to beat the snake record?
Yeah.
Okay, which one?
Anya and
Anya,
Kodiak
right.
were the next most frequently asked. Your elbows are so sharp.
Kodiak's in deep shed too. Anya, I would like to show you because I just want you to see how big she is right now. She's friggin' huge. Look at this snake. A lot of you maybe haven't seen Anya, and unless you watch all my videos, you may not have seen Anya since she was young, you know, but she's a big ball python. And
she's so big.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't skip meals, that's for sure. But I have other snakes that eat the same amount as her, but don't get this big. So she's and she's not done growing. She's still relatively young. I mean, she's for sure an adult, but she's young, you know. So we are pairing her with Kodiak this year. And Kodiak is in deep shed right now, so I can't bring him out. But I'm going to keep her. Cheese.
Teresa, Anya is a pastel exanthic. Yes.
That's right.
Please don't eat the chocolate on the table. Okay? It's not for you. And Brandiola. Bob, what NorCal show are you considering?
It's which one is that? Tulare County. That's not even NorCal. It's Central California. Barbara, my biggest ball python, thanks for the super chat, by the way. My biggest ball python is Damara, but she's not. I'm slowly bringing her back up to weight after laying that huge clutch. So currently my biggest ball python is Kata, because Kata is not as long as Damara, but she is pretty thick right now. And I'm guessing at some point, Anya will give both of those snakes a run for their money. I'm not going to feed her any more than I normally, you know, medium rat once a week in breeding season for those few months that you sort of power up their food a bit. And then a medium rat every 2 weeks off breeding season. That's how I feed my females. But how pretty is a pastel axanthic? Look at those colors. I don't know if you can truly see. I mean, I know you can't truly see. It does come across differently on camera. I remember the first time I saw an axanthic in person, I went, "Oh, that's even cooler than I thought," you know. But they're pretty rad. All right, did we break the record for amount of snakes shown?
We did.
How many? 17? What? How many?
We got 17 of the green room snakes today, which is a record. Plus Dodger and Boo Boo.
And about 3.5 hours. You guys, those of you who stuck with me for this long, thanks for sticking in. If you were here from the beginning, put in the chat if you were here from the beginning really quick, so that I'll see it tomorrow when I look at this. I'm going to take a couple days to look at this. I'm not going to sit down for 3.5 hours to watch me talk into the camera.
Why not?
Actually, I don't even watch me talk. I watch I watch the chat. I want to see what everybody's saying. Leah St. Clair, well done. Thanks for being here this whole time. I appreciate it. That's hard to do. Keith was here too the whole time. T. Rob, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Oh, there's a bunch of people that were here the whole time. Seneca, Jake, Fizzy, Tom, so many people. Oh my gosh, you guys. Awkward Starfish. Oh wait, that was a longer comment and I didn't see. Shoot. Teresa was here. Barbara.
Guys, I think there's also a shot we might have broken the record for most super chats.
Oh, really? That's
The
possible.
greatest, yeah, because this is a different notebook than the one I usually write in. The one I usually write in is like a wide ruled notebook, and this one's a college ruled notebook. And look at this.
Amy, the stats that you keep, I mean, I know that you write down the super chats because you make sure that I don't miss any, which is awesome. But I didn't know that you keep other stats of these live streams. And I appreciate you. You're a crazy person, but I appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody that's watching right now. I think we're going to end it here. Oh, look at this. We're officially at 3 hours and 30 minutes. We did a 3.5 hour live stream today. Thanks for being with me, you guys. You're awesome. Amy, thank you. And goodbye, everybody. See you next time.